Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Sean Bell,
Hello.
James Farley.
Hello.
No Matt Murray this week. He is busy breaking bones.
He's having a bad old time.
He's jumping on a bit of wood and floating down a mountain and cracking bones, baby. So instead, we've got first appearance of the year from Sarah Dyer. Hello, Sarah. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you all?
Itching to be back, is it? It's the new year. You're like, right, come on, let's get back on that show and fucking tell them where they've gone wrong.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Can you do
New
that
Year?
in February? I don't know what the rules are.
I had a man come round to make sure my boiler wasn't going to blow up last week, and he said it, so I figure it's still okay.
Fair dues.
We had one of those, and now we owe that man £7,500. So hope your experience went better than ours.
We were talking about war and conscription and politics and philosophy for life.
Blimey.
Did you do that while he was working on the boiler, or to be? Because I'd probably wait until the gas was fully shut off.
Oh no, it's fine. It's just one of the safety checks, so it's nothing serious, and I don't have to pay for
No,
it. So
that's it. Ours was just a safety check. They turned up for 5 minutes and went, "It's not safe. Goodbye." And then they charged me £120 for it. Right, we'd like to start the show by thanking our Patreon producers this month. They are Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights and Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gasman, Rocketman76, Grey Dragon Claw, Smooth Monkey, Richard Sawyer, John Tempelli, Jackie Sniper, Sam Higton, Tom S, Stan, Philip with an F, Fred Fenge, Cena narrowly lost to David in the TCGS Con North Mario Kart Final 2023, John the Nelsmeister Nelson, and a returning full Nels. It's Ryan Cobain. There we go. That is some crew. The full Nels crew.
I saw the email come in about Ryan's. I've not actually been able to log into our Patreon account to check. So someone might have just got a freebie this week.
Right, well, if they are, we will come round and break those legs. That's how it works. We'll send James over, who is actually a nasty bastard when you actually come face to face with him.
He'll bring one of his vintage pistols and then bang, there go your kneecaps.
I forgot about his weaponry.
Do you know, I nearly bought one of those.
His arsehole.
I've bought another one of those recently.
Why? What for?
No, we were so we were in, where was it? We were in Dresden.
I nearly bought another firearm.
No, we were in Dresden, and they had these pistols there, in a thing, and I was like, I could buy one of those, and I was thinking about it, and I didn't know.
Is it the power thing?
No, it's just they look interesting, isn't it? And it's and then I thought I could bring, and then I was even thinking about thinking I could show it to you on here, but then I thought that probably wouldn't look good if I'm only waving a gun around,
It just reminds me of the guy that played Santa Claus in what is it, Nathan For You? And every time you saw him after that, they showed a picture of him getting guns out of his closet, which is exactly what it'd be like visiting you. You could go to patreon.com/TCGS if you want to support the show. Please do. Different tiers. You don't have to go full Nels. You can also there's different tiers to get bonus content, videos, all sorts. Go check it out. Patreon.com/TCGS. Now, before we get into the feedback, I do want to say that we've got some exciting news. And if you're listening to this on the Wednesday and not watching live, then unfortunately this happened yesterday. But the way things worked out, this is the soonest opportunity we could actually tell you that this was going ahead. So hopefully you can watch on catch up. But we are part of the NSPCC Game Safe Festival. We're live on Tuesday. Do we know a time, Sean?
I don't think we have a specific time slot yet. No, I think it's between from 10 a.m. onwards the show starts, and we're going to be on at some point.
Keep your eye out, twitch.tv/NSPCC. It's an exclusive podcast around 4 p.m. we're being told is when we'll be on, and it's all for the NSPCC Game Safe Festival. It's an exclusive podcast. The only place that you're going to hear it is on twitch.tv/NSPCC, and you can hear us talking about gaming as parents.
You can hear us not being allowed to swear for 50 minutes.
That was tough, wasn't it?
It was a nightmare.
That was tough.
It was exceptionally tough. Yeah.
Sean said crap. Here's a
Did I?
spoiler. Sean said crap at one point.
Look, crap's all right. I'll say crap in front of my 6-year-old child.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
would be
yeah,
arrested if a policeman heard you do that.
No, you're allowed a crap in like a PG film, right?
Yeah.
Right,
Louis,
okay.
Louis
that's
says
okay.
that Matt got a sod off in there. As well.
All right, that's bad, isn't it?
Matt's probably a bit
And
off
James
that.
Farley said cunt. But other than that, it's...
Hang on, who's editing this week, Dave?
It's going to have to be you, mate. It's going to have to be you. Right, okay. So definitely check that out. Twitch.tv/NSPCC on the 6th of Feb, around 4 p.m. If
there's
you're watching
stuff on
live.
all week.
Yes, there is
But,
stuff
you
on
know.
all week, and you can watch that channel all week. Or if it's past that, I'm sure there's a VOD that you could catch up with and see that exclusive podcast over there. The last thing that I wanted to talk about before we go to feedback, James, you returned to podcasting for the streaming for the year, Twitch streaming for the year.
Yeah, it's the first one.
I've got to tell Sean what happened, right?
Please
And
do.
this isn't a dig. I promise you, this isn't a dig.
I don't know what this could possibly be.
Right. Okay, it's not. I promise you, I'm not having a go at you, James. It's just something in that game happens that blew me away and got me so fucking excited that I was like, "Oh my god, James has started Dark Souls 3." Yes, mate. So I settled down. I was like waiting for that moment. That moment. Don't say anything, James. Don't ruin it.
I've just realised what this is.
I
Go
don't know
on.
what it is.
What do you know? Do you know what it is?
I think so, yeah.
Seeing Fire
Yeah.
Link Shrine for the first time, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, you see Firelink Shrine again. That's but it's different, and you can see it all built up, and this is huge. This is a massive moment. Like, I was so excited when those words come up, and I'm thinking, when does it happen? Like, is it when you first walk in? Does it come up in big bold letters? What? I'm just trying to remember. So anyway, James is doing the intro bit. He does the intro bit. Gets killed a couple of times. Then he gets to those steps that lead up to that cylinder area where Firelink Shrine is, and he walks up to the top of the steps, and I'm thinking, come on, I can't wait to see his face. Then he fucks off to the right of it, goes, I wonder what's over there, gets pushed off a ledge and goes back to a bonfire, and I'm like, James, this is doing me in. But anyway, he goes back up to it, right, and I'm all excited. I'm like, this is going to blow his mind that this is basically going to, because it sets the tone, right? That game, I don't think it's any spoiler to say that there are a lot of Dark Souls 1 and 2 references throughout that game. It's just full of cameos and stuff. And when he gets to the top of the stairs and he stops, right? He gets to the top, he gets to the arch, and he just stops and stands there and looks about. And I'm like, fucking hell, James, just take 2 steps forward. He does. The music kicks in. It comes up Firelink Shrine across the screen, and he goes, Firelink Shrine, and then walks off. I'm like, do you know how big that was for me, James? That was like a huge moment. What the fuck?
It's all right, isn't it?
Did you forget what Firelink Shrine was?
Yes. And, next time I'm playing, I'll treat it with the suitable reverence.
Too late, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that'll be on our YouTube channel by the time you're listening to this on the podcast. So definitely check out James's absolute.
Is it not? Of course, no, Matt. This is out. I forget Matt's
It's
off.
Matt's job, is it?
I mean, selfishly, I put my own stream up on YouTube and completely neglected James.
Yeah,
so I will sort that out.
Yeah, just go and watch it. It's so fucking funny. Anyway, yeah, James is back streaming. Everyone, get excited about that.
So am I.
Okay, should we get to? Have you got any feedback, Sarah, that you want to go over?
I felt like there was just a moment then when my brain just went like completely blue screen. There is, but I feel like there's probably a better time to bring it up.
It feels like you're being tactical. No, I don't like it. Should we get to the listeners' feedback, Sean?
Jeff Kettle says, the shaggability scale from the end of episode 386. We all know that James has the biggest daddy energy.
Mate,
Farley
he
Fan
is
Club.
the favourite. Someone sent me a screenshot of you, James. Someone sent me a screenshot of you because on YouTube there's the summer special we did of Joypod at Play Radio.
Yeah.
And you're in it, and you are gorgeous.
I know that's before I lost my looks though. You know, because of the whole getting old and eating too many pies and sausage rolls and having kids.
I think you still got it, mate. What about that? Okay, right. I was very awkward about that whole conversation, Sean. I wish you'd never brought it up.
Really? I thought it was funny.
Okay. Should we get to the next bit of feedback?
I don't know if this is Billy A 316 or Billia 316. Either way. Feedback on Dave's favourite moment in The Last of Us Part 2. Sorry to break hearts, but the song My Future Days is unlikely to be on the second series of the TV show. The first series was set earlier than in the game by a decade, so the outbreak was in 2003 in the series, but Pearl Jam's album was released in 2013, so it doesn't exist in the TV world. Keep up the great work, fellas.
I don't think anyone will notice, will they?
No, they won't notice.
Well, Billia 316 will apparently.
Oh, well, I'll say this, right? So 2013 is when... Well, hold on. Let me get this right. You're worried that it's not factually correct because that Pearl Jam song come out after the outbreak. Yet we're in 2023 and there's not been our outbreak. So I think suspending belief could be okay. Is that...
What do you mean?
Are we supposed to pretend that it's the same universe and then it splinters off? Is that the idea?
Also,
Right.
Also I don't know where it appears in the game because I haven't played it, but is it not presented as if one of the characters wrote it, or is it him?
No,
playing
it's
the
definitely
Pearl Jam
him.
song?
No, it's definitely him playing the Pearl Jam song.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's definitely because there's Pearl Jam posters and stuff in the shops that they go in and stuff like. I think it's just a big Pearl Jam
There's
fan.
the outbreak and then there's a time skip, right?
Yes.
So who's to say that Pearl Jam didn't persist through the outbreak and still write that song?
Well, exactly. Also, who's to say that in that universe they just didn't come out 10 years earlier? Because that could have happened.
Yeah.
In that universe.
Or maybe just put the song in anyway, and maybe people should just get a life and not complain about something so
Turns
pedantic.
out it's all made up.
Billy.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Like if the song works, leave it in and just let people deal with it.
Billy.
Can we hear your rendition, David, please?
If I ever was to lose you, I'll surely lose myself. That's good, right?
It's
That's what I
like
was
Vic
here for.
Reeves on Christ, what was it
that was
called?
good.
The quiz.
What?
Shooting Stars. When Vic was doing his club night renditions of
Yeah, did I ever say, like, what was it, last Christmas? Shut up, don't say it. I know what everyone's thinking when I say last Christmas. Last Christmas, oh no, you don't, Sean, because you don't listen to Christmas
never heard of
music.
Christmas.
There's my brother-in-law found an old CD that I think he got from a magazine or something that was literally just Vic Reeves doing that. And then the next track would be, yes, that was such and such. So we were playing it for real. Like it was a CD of just that. It went on for ages, but I was just laughing. Brilliant.
You still got that? Get that in MP3
Get that,
format.
get that. Yeah, I thought you were going to say that.
Because they get it digitized.
Yeah, but I haven't got anything to stick a CD into now, so we've got to digitize
Well, I
it.
bought a CD drive. Do you remember I said I was joking about doing a Christmas album as a Secret Santa thing for work? Well, I never actually did it, but I bought the fucking drive. So if you want to send that CD to me, I'll get it ripped.
Okay, we'll
Does the
we'll
Series X
digitize that.
and stuff play CDs, like music CDs.
Yeah.
Yeah, should do.
Go on. Yeah. How do I convert that into MP3 from there, James?
How do we get that on the Zune?
That is a good question. No, just
Can't
you said no. Okay,
cards,
let's roll this back a bit, right? You said I don't have anything that plays CDs. That's bullshit. You've got a PS5.
That was in
and
response.
But the point what we were
The point
getting at
we were
is
talking
needed
about,
MP3
James.
version.
was
you
that
said
we were
anything
trying to convert
play
it.
CDs.
You're
not
being
play
overly
CDs.
literal there, James.
Right,
Well,
you've done it.
Or-
I'll tell you what. Honestly, he would be right. He would be, if there's like a big murder mystery in a mansion, he'd be the one to stand up and go, I've worked it out. And 10 seconds into doing his explanation, people go, James, you've just fucking lost it, mate. Don't worry about it. Go and sit over there.
Look, I'm just asking for precision here. You said play CDs, not rip CDs.
Sorry, Sarah.
Yeah,
you
but
were talking.
he wasn't
I'm
listening again, was he? He just
No,
heard
he
that
wasn't.
one bit.
He just heard
and
that
took
one
it
bit.
in
Yeah,
isolation.
100%.
James is onto something though.
Go on.
Put the CD in your Xbox and play it, and then just like record it as a voice note on your phone.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
All
Or
right.
stick a
That's
line,
what James
line
meant the
out
whole
cable.
time, obviously.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that last line there, James?
Stick a line out cable in. You know, you
Line out cable, yeah?
Where are you going to stick that in, James?
plug
In the
that
Xbox?
into your line in on your computer. You could just record it.
The
there, you know?
Xbox
Line
has
in on my
probably
computer.
got an audio out
It's got an optical out,
hole
I
in
think.
it,
I
right?
wonder if you could still rip like stuff to Xbox, because you could do that with the original Xbox.
I know
Yeah,
you
and
could.
then you could, use it as your soundtrack in
Yeah.
Midtown Madness.
Well, I
They
think
should
what
bring
we
that
actually did was recorded, genuinely recorded audio at a Millwall match to get the chance, and then burn that onto CD and put it into FIFA, so you could have them going, "Fucking head in," you know. Like, good times. I also, if you're thinking about using our feedback form this week to show ways of how to rip from a fucking Xbox to a PC, please don't. I don't want to hear it. I'm not going to do
We
it.
could just Google it.
I mean, sending it to Sean to do sounds a little bit too far for me at the moment. Okay. All right, next.
It's probably already, it'd be on archive.org or something.
It almost definitely is.
Clark says, I am one of those people who wasn't a huge fan of The Last of Us.
If
Thought
you're
the
one of
story was
those
fine.
People. Sorry.
That's all right. Thought the story was fine, but the gameplay
Oh.
was horrible. I got stuck constantly in janky stealth sections and found it frustrating overall. Also didn't think it was anything super incredible, just pretty good. Love the TV show though, and the Bill and Frank episode is some of the best gay storytelling ever. Cried like a baby when watching it recently. Just saying, wasn't a fan, but also not an aggressive hater of the franchise. Love you all, Clark. They do exist.
That must have been pretty wild for you, right? Oh, you didn't see that episode, did you?
I've not seen the show.
Because Sorry,
I was gonna
Sarah, go on.
I mean, firstly, I'm completely with Clark on all of this. Like my partner played through the game recently for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was like, it doesn't nothing in The Last of Us I think is particularly new or original. It just does everything really, really, really well.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I started watching the TV show on a plane, got through the first 2 episodes and was like, this is actually really good. Got halfway through the 3rd episode and I was like, oh, I need to turn this off because I'm on a plane and there's someone
we were in bits.
and I already was like, but it was like, you know,
That is a real thing, isn't it? You're more
when
likely
like tears are silent
yeah,
and
yeah.
they're just streaming down your face, but you're not properly crying.
No, you see,
I
me, it's all or nothing. I
Oh,
can't do the silent tear right now.
There's no nothing. It's just whatever I'm watching. Just burst into tears.
I was holding it in until it becomes very apparent that it's like the last day, and then I was like, no, this needs to go off.
Yeah.
Because I can see how this is going, and I'm just going to.
I cried at Gladiators last week. That one of them was pushing a ref. I'd be fascinated to see what you think of that 3rd episode, Sean, because like I'm now watching Parks and Rec, and I'm sitting there going, but that's that guy.
Will Swanson. Yeah.
I watched Parks and Rec first.
So that must have been even weirder for you.
I don't think it was because I think I started watching Parks and Rec maybe like 6 seasons in, so I only really saw maybe the last season as it was being aired, and obviously that was a while ago now. So I think I've had enough time.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say, no, I don't think it was because I can tell when an actor is playing a different part. Because that is the other thing, isn't it? Hold on, he was someone different. It's something else that I've seen.
Also, he is just so good. Like Nick Offerman in that series is incredible.
Yeah, for sure. I hope that answers your question, Clark. What was the question?
Next one. So we've got a few about this, but I feel like this sort of encapsulates it and in the least antagonistic way. Karl Marx says, regarding the Microsoft layoff discussion, I think it was illustrative of the degree to which capitalism has been successful in portraying itself as some sort of natural social order. James is absolutely correct. It's a system designed by human beings and one which continues to operate thanks to material decisions. It's not an earthquake or a meteor shower. It's an economic ideology that can and must change. Almost every aspect of society is organised to make us believe otherwise, so I can understand David's point of view, but there's nothing more naive and demoralising than declaring that this is simply the way things are rather than challenging how and why. Love the show, appreciate you all, big ups to the proletariat, hugs and kisses, Carl.
Yeah, it was a strange, not a strange conversation. I thought it was an interesting conversation last week. I think maybe if I could go back and change something that I said, it was probably the word naive. because I don't think it's naive to say that they should just rehouse these workers or whatever, to retrain these workers. But I suppose it's that age-old argument, right? We all see problems with capitalism. Everyone does, right? There's some people that are strongly against it, and there's some people that are slightly against it, and some people that are not against it at all, right? But everyone can see flaws within capitalism. But in that conversation there, I suppose the angle I was coming from is that it's very easy to go, they should do this. And you're going, well, no, within the system that we actually live in, we can't change. That's not going to change this week, is it?
No, but the point I was also making is there's different types of capitalism, and different countries operate it in different ways, and it doesn't, like, American style capitalism is quite different to capitalism which is used in other countries.
Yeah,
and in other countries they do have systems to prevent this sort of thing as well. So this is why,
because like Luke Summerhays also wrote in, and he was saying, like, obviously, the situation with Iwata when he cut his pay, and I think a lot of the C-suite in Nintendo did as well to avoid layoffs. So that is, like, I think at the time we were like, oh, that's really cool of him. Pretty sure that is actually a legal requirement in Japan. I don't think you get any say in, like, you're not allowed to lay people off if there's people higher up absolutely coining it at the same time.
Yeah, basically how it works in Japan is you're only allowed to start layoffs if the company is basically going bankrupt. And it's either you lay people off or you go bankrupt. But I mean, I think, especially coming to the point about, with that whole conversation like last week, I think pretty much everything James was saying, I was like, yes. But I mean, I think what a lot of people, obviously, so much has been said about how so many people are losing jobs and how horrific that is. And yes, it is. But I think and obviously, that's horrific for anyone in the industry, whether you are laid off or not. Because even if you're not laid off, you can't get a new job because there are no jobs. So if you're stuck in a shitty situation, you can't move anywhere. And then you constantly have the thing on your head of, like, what if we're next? What if we're next? But
plus,
then
like, the workload you presumably have to deal with after.
And that kind of leads into why, as players, you should also be upset about this, because especially with, like, the Microsoft situation, a couple of the departments which were hit really, really badly because of overlap was customer service and QA. So, Dave, I think before we went online, you were already saying how shit Microsoft's customer service is. Well,
Sony's. Kicking off of that is dreadful.
But I mean, Blizzard's customer service, because obviously they deal with, World of Warcraft. Blizzard's customer service is generally thought of as good, especially the game masters that work on World of Warcraft. If so many of them have been decimated, they're not going to be able to give that good service. Potentially, issues with Blizzard games and something as complex as World of Warcraft is now just going to get farmed off onto Microsoft employees who don't really know the situation, don't really know the game. So, that's customer service across the board is now completely down the pan. Also QA, I mean, Sledgehammer Games, the way one of the guys phrased it was that the QA team had been decimated. And that is only going to lead to worse games for everyone. If teams like customer service and QA are seen as disposable, you're going to get worse games and you're going to get worse service. So
right. My point is that when you look at legislation within business, right, it's got to be black and white. You can't have as far as I'm aware, you can't have certain legislations for certain size companies, and then just. My point is this. Yeah, I know, but not to the level where you're saying, right, you can make to say when it comes to redundancy, right, and laying people off. I don't know how you turn around and say, oh, as a company, we've taken over this business, we can handle these departments with our own organisation now. So these jobs now become redundant. I don't know how legislation could say, no, you've still got to keep them on. Oh, but we don't need them because we've got our own. But no, but you have to keep them on. But keep them on doing what? Like, I think it's what I'm saying is that the whole structure of a business is way more complicated than that, and I think it becomes really difficult to legislate that. Like it really does. I've been through redundancies. Every company that I've been at, I've seen people being made redundant. I tend to dodge the bullet quite a bit, which I don't know fucking hell. I think whenever I'm asked, I said I think they think I'm a pet and they just put out some food for me every now and then, so they forget I'm an actually employee there. But it's a horrible thing to go to. It is horrible, and it can destroy lives, and it's really really hard. But I don't know how you legislate to the point where you're saying the 2,000 people where their job is being made redundant, retrain them. Like I don't know how that works,
But
or if that's what
the point
they
that Sarah's
want.
making is that people didn't necessarily need retraining. Like Microsoft have obviously looked at it as like, oh well, we've already got customer support staff, so why do we need all these other people? It was actually the Blizzard support staff was specialised in a very different way.
Yeah, for Blizzard.
And
I think it's essentially one of those things is that I also agree that when it comes into legislation, it's a tricky thing to legislate. It does need to be almost this kind of complete reappraisal of what it is to run a business and to serve both your staff and your customers, because Microsoft are essentially looking at it and going, this is the bare number of people, this is the minimum number of people that we can get by doing customer service with.
Yeah.
And so obviously they've just got rid of a whole bunch of other people, and it's you see it anywhere. Like I've had an absolute nightmare over the past 3 months trying to deal with an issue with 3, and it's because they just farm customer service roles. It's gonna be that horrible cliche where they just farm them out to India, and. Yeah, but the thing is, though, is like there is a language barrier and things are an issue, but it's not just the language barrier and having to like get someone to like understand. To be honest, 3 weren't the worst. Thames Water was every time I'd get like a chat message, it was like a riddle trying to figure out what it was they were actually trying to tell me. And the thing is, though, is it's like I'm not annoyed at the person on the other end. I'm annoyed at Thames Water. Farming things out and making things worse for their customer rather than just paying someone in the UK a decent wage to do the job. But it basically becomes that thing of like, it's farming things out for as low as possible rather than going, you know what, this will cost us a bit more money, but this will be better for our customers in the long run. And that is something that is very, 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 very tricky to legislate around. There basically just needs to be a complete change of opinion and change of attitude and culture around business.
See, and also, I mean, as Chris Mann is saying in the chat, there's a reason why this happens, like in the US stuff, like with US staff, much easier than it does with EU staff, and it's because there are regulations here that make it.
But easier. But you could still just get made redundant out of nowhere. It happens all the time. It's happened all the way through my life in every company I've been at.
But it's
people have just been laid off.
Yeah, you can, but but you can also make it much more difficult for companies if they're companies which are successful. If they're companies which are making a lot of money, you can make it much more difficult to just let people go for no reason.
Okay, but that's not been my experience at the companies I've worked for, where they have literally just gone, see you later. We're doing this. We're doing that. You're going. Like it's.
No, but exactly. But you're talking about your experience within the UK context, which is not the same as the experience for other people in other countries. Where you I
understand.
I understand.
I understand that, James. But what I'm saying is that I don't think it is necessarily. Oh, it's the US. This is all happening in the US because it's easy to do it. Because it
happens in the UK as well. Because
the
reason it happens in the UK is because the Tories, since the 1980s, they completely tried to get rid of unions in the UK. They undermined all employment laws, and and one of the reasons for wanting to leave the EU is also so they could further undermine employment laws as well. That's one of the main reasons for this is why this happens in the UK.
But my argument, I suppose where the argument come from, and where I was disappointed with some of the feedback and the stuff that I read about the argument, because I think we had an understanding when we were chatting last week, James, The argument wasn't that no, they shouldn't do that. It should stay as it is, and they should let these people go. That's not what I was saying at all. My point was simply just going, they should have retrained them and put them elsewhere. Like that to me is such a okay. Yeah, they should have done that. But let's talk about the actual issue that we're in today, because they're not doing that. Like, do you know what I mean? They should have done that is an easy thing to say, but it doesn't help anyone and it doesn't help anything. Going into what is wrong with legislation in the UK, in the US, what is wrong with doing what Microsoft is doing, is a better discussion than the sort of sound bites that you hear on the internet when anything like this happens. And don't get me wrong, I did get a lot of feedback as well that were saying, actually, no, it was interesting to hear two different approaches and two different views on a reaction to this than the usual. But also I saw a lot of people going, yeah, I knew David was a bit like that. No, it's not, because there was at no point was I saying, yeah, nice one, Microsoft. Yeah, cool.
No, exactly. You absolutely
saved yourself a bit of money, lads. Do you know what I mean? Like, it makes no sense.
Very shrewd.
Yeah, shrewd businessman. You know,
there's such a deeper conversation to have, and you know, we're not good enough to have that conversation. We can offer our opinions on what's happened and stuff. We can't get into it as much as I'd want to, because I don't have that much knowledge on business law. I don't really know too much about it. We've voiced our disgust about all these layoffs for the months now that they've been coming in, and just to see the reaction of it, I was just kind of like, oh fuck, man, you're not listening. You're not actually listening to what we're talking about, because there is another conversation to be had here.
Yeah.
And I get so frustrated when news like that or other news comes out and you hear that usual, that's bad, isn't it? And you're going, yeah, it is bad, mate. Right? What? Like, so what are you going to do about it? What's the conversation going to be about? Or is it just going to be about, fuck, that's fucking shit, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
And that's been one of the things that we found. It is the most difficult talking about this, is like, because see, my position with this would always be that there are alternatives. There are different ways of doing these things. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be this way. But as you said, David, it is, especially within the US context, it's a system which we can't change, like, from here anyway. We can't really do anything about that. So it is a difficult conversation, because, you know, what can you ultimately do, you know, as an individual, you know, to make changes to this?
Well, you know that there's nothing that you're going to do for it as an individual, because those that would be affected the most are the people who have the most money. So they're not exactly going to change things, because it's going to hit them where they feel it the most.
Which is why
you
then have to bring in government regulation. Honestly, that's the only way.
But I can't see that ever happening at this point.
But it has happened before. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
I would say
Sorry,
as well is that regardless of whether, obviously the conversations come up a lot in regards to games, but I would say regardless of whether you work within games or not, join a union.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
The main sort of games one in the UK is basically the games worker chapter of the IWGB, which is Independent Workers of Union. And they have chapters that represent gig workers, couriers, care workers, security guards. Basically, if you are in an industry that has a well-established union, chances are you're already in it. But if you are in an industry and you think that there is no union for your industry, please go and look at IWGB, because they may have a chapter for you, and they do have one for games, which is great and really reasonable.
Cool.
But there is also the warning that when you do look, there may not be a union for you outside of gaming.
No.
You know, there are fees to join a union, which are usually relatively low costs. You know, which
the IWGB has a sliding scale based on your salary.
Right, that's cool.
Okay.
But they also do provide legal aid and things like that. There's reasons to do this. It's not just
They're not just asking for money. Sorry, they should be given this. But there are people that are on the breadline and thinking, well, I'd love to join a union, but that £10-20 a month is actually, well, I kind of need that. But there's also the fact that some unions require, I can't join the architects union, I can't, because I'm not qualified Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
so there
wow.
are requirements in that where
Yeah.
no, don't get me wrong. I don't think I don't know. It's tough. I don't think that I need to join any union. I guess that's because I haven't been up against it yet in my day-to-day life for a long time, not within the job that I'm currently in. But it's, we've always been pro that stuff. I thought we were clear about that, but you just sometimes you read a couple of comments and you just go, you're not even saying stuff that I'm saying at this point. You're literally putting words in my mouth. So I was a little bit pissed off with the feedback, but there you go. Right. So I hope that cleared up my point of view and where I was coming from last week.
Would anyone like to hear a funny game idea? Rafi.
To lighten the mood.
Rafi says, "Hi guys, while I am not Joey Visanti, I felt like I should throw my game idea into the Games Commissioning Board of TCGS. Game name, Anthem, brackets, not that one. The objective of the game is that you want your favourite football team to win the Big Footy Balls Championship. I'm going to apologise to Dave in advance. It does that thing you hate where he calls it footy balls and stuff. Anyway.
I'm absolutely seething at this point.
But you're not a player or a manager. Oh no, you're just a single fan and your task is to hype up other fans and the ball kickers on the pitch with motivational chants and cheers in order to make your team do a goal.
This is Crystal Palace, the game.
You can even jeer the enemy. God, I've lost it. There we go. You can jeer the enemy team and start a punch up with the other team's fans. You can chant the referee's a wanker if you disagree with the ref decision, and the ref will ponder this outcome and decide whether or not he is indeed a wanker and needs to change his decision. Finally, how does this all play? Basically, it's pat-upon. Press a number of face buttons to chant various things, and it controls whether you're convincing your team to attack, defend, increase team morale, etc. I've even worked out all the microtransactions. If you have a favourite team, you can spend an additional £1 for all the real chance of your favourite football team to be in the game. There's like 7 teams that I personally know of, so I think we'd get a few quid. I look forward to you agreeing on this proposal. I believe that this model can translate into other sports, specifically golf, but the chants are done via gentle whispers instead until you get booted off the golf course for disrupting the peace. If you have any thoughts, please let me know. I look forward to your decision."
I think Matt might like it. James?
Do you know, I don't think it's... I mean, I like this idea with tennis as well, like where you have a button that you just, so it just says, like, go on, Tim, and stuff like that. And you could just, you can do it any time. It'd be great.
Someone recently turned around and said, "Is there ever been a game about football hooliganism?" And I went, yeah, we bought it. Like, we had it at home. It was
that
a PC
FIFA
game. No, it was called...
Not FIFA Pitch. No, Red Card. Was it Red Card? I can't remember.
that was a red card.
Shit,
Right,
what was
okay.
it called? I know
Let's
the one
take
you
you
mean.
through it.
Is that the film?
It's called Hooligans Rage Over Europe, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Over
yeah,
Europe.
wow.
It was like a strategy game, though. Storm Over Europe. Hooligans Storm Over Europe. It came out in 2002. And it was like a strategy game where it was like an isometric view of like this town, and then I can't even remember. I remember playing it, just going, "This is rubbish." But yeah, no. Red Card Soccer was a football game where they went, "What if there were no refs?"
Yeah.
So you could just slide tackle, and the game carried on, and it was like, "What? This is
Ironically,
annoying."
we mean there's no red cards either.
Yeah,
right?
there were no red cards. So why it was called Red Card Soccer, I've got no idea.
Soccer.
Yeah, yes. Hooligan Storm Over Europe. The cover tells you everything you need to know. At the bottom, the tagline is "The only thing to fear." Try and finish it, James. Sean. The tagline is "The only thing to fear."
It's not fear itself, is it? It's got to be something else.
No, it's something else. James, you got an idea? Don't look it up.
The
The only thing to fear. No, Sarah, have a stab at it. Come on, I'll give you a clue. It rhymes. It rhymes. The only thing to fear.
Something about cheer,
Sean?
as in cheering.
I've got nothing.
James is close. The only thing to fear is running out of beer.
Oh, there you go.
Fucking hell. Oh, a couple of people in the chat.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I might have to stream this. I might have to stream it with my Millwall shirt on. Controversy. With this from Wikipedia, obviously. The game was released in 2002 on PC, and immediate controversy due to its violent content and perceived promotion of criminal behaviour in football. With some politicians calling for it to be banned. Oh, God. Yeah, it was in that era as well. I mean, they're right. It is like a really shit thing to make a game out of, but also it wasn't very good, so I wouldn't have worried about it.
Especially as a football fan, like a fan of a team with a certain reputation.
Oh yeah, you heard
That
about that
sort-
reputation, have you, boy?
Um,
We're proud of that. God.
but that's what I mean. But surely, yeah, like you're probably more turned off by that stuff than Matt.
Oh,
for
it winds
example.
me up. Something
Yeah,
chronic. When you
yeah.
meet someone, like for the first time, and they find out they're a Millwall fan, they instantly think, like, I just hate being judged. Yeah, I feel really judged. But I tell you something really bad, right? So it's Harry's birthday, the end of the month, and he says, I want to take my friends to Millwall. Could we do it? And actually, for kids, it's really reasonable. It's like £5 a ticket. So I was like, do you know what? Yeah. He said, I've picked a bunch of friends. We're going to send the invites out. Oh, will you take us to Millwall? I was like, yes, mate. Yeah, I will. Yeah. Joe got about 4 text messages from parents saying, no, I'm not. He's not. He's not going there.
But is that how?
Wild,
Sorry,
Harry.
not to derail. I know this is a computer game show. Not to derail it completely, but because I know, like you've said, like there's a big movement within the club to against that whole
Family
image.
Club of the Year a couple of years ago, mate.
Oh, well, there you go. So, how much of that of the violence and stuff is still part of the experience for some
It's
people?
not
Is
part of the
is it just is
experience.
it not a thing?
No,
is it? Right.
it's
So
just
I have
not.
no idea. So I just yeah.
You walk to the ground and you get on the thing, and then they've even got a separate path for the away fans, and we don't even see the away fans the whole time there now. I mean, it was bad at one point, but like we're talking 70s, 80s. Like
Yeah.
I mean, there's wankers all over the world of football.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah,
let me not. I'm not
And
going to turn
outside
around
of
and
the world
say.
of football. It's just
Yeah, but there is something about football and arseholes. Like there is. Even at like the league stuff, you look around and just go, "Fuck this." But like so, inevitably, there's people at that place that you don't want to be around. But honestly, in terms of everyone going, "Oh, let's fucking fight," it just it don't happen. Doesn't happen near the ground anyway. Right, okay, next.
Right, couple of
question.
easy ones. Herman Hulst's enormous nostrils says James pre-show Jaeger bomb. No more tired problems, and he'll be a bit happier. Thank you.
That's not
I've
true.
I did drink a Red Bull before we started
there you
this on purpose to try and
Maybe
keep
up till
more
3
awake.
a.m..
So yeah,
Cool.
there you go.
Yeah, I did. If you have a Jaeger bomb before the show, by about an hour in, the rush has dropped and the alcohol's taken over, and it just.
And then the last one comes from Fat Dennis, who says, last week David asked whether they should fire James, and I felt the need to jump to James's defence. Look, James can't help that he wants whatever he's doing to end as quickly as possible. He's not lazy and disinterested. James is just efficient. A man on a mission who's going to complete it no matter how unentertaining it is. Don't believe me? Take his Hitman streams, for example. Never before has someone so incessantly ignored the plethora of creative and entertaining mechanics presented to them, instead opting to do the exact same thing over and over again in an effort to end the level as fast as possible. Shoot a guy, steal their clothes, save, rinse and repeat while choosing the most direct path to his mark. What's that, Stray? There's a stealth mission, not for James Farley. James is compelled to keep moving forward. It's his very essence, his nature. Don't stifle him with trivial requirements like listening or saying things that make sense. Keep up the good work, James, and please never change.
It's true. I'm like a shark. You know.
Yeah, well, more like a wail than moaning that you do. But Fat Dennis, you are absolutely right. I'm gonna calm down. I'm gonna leave James be for a little bit. How's that?
A week
Hope
or
you're
two.
happy now.
Are you talking to Fat Dennis or me?
Fat Dennis. Both
Okay.
of you. Why not? Right. Is
Oh,
that it for the feedback?
I did realize that I had something. This is just really quick.
Go on.
So you know how you were talking about the traitors last week and how iPlayer spoiled it for you when
Yeah.
you got
Yeah,
iPlayer. So that they changed it, but there used to be. So obviously WWE has WWE Network, which is like their own streaming service for all their programs.
Yeah.
They used to do the app. So obviously there's an app and you can watch everything through the app. The app used to do a thing where whenever there was a big pay-per-view on, and bearing in mind these pay-per-views run from like 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. So chances are you're not watching most of them if you're in the UK or maybe stay up for the big ones. The app would send a notification, a push
no.
notification to your phone after every single match with the results.
Fuck off.
So you'd wake up in
Wow.
I think it happened like one pay-per-view, and I was like, right,
Yeah,
well, I'm
turn it
turning all
off, yeah.
notifications off. Because I woke up in the morning, I was like, oh, okay, here is all
Is
of the
that a way of
spoilers.
saying you should have paid for it? Was
I
that the
think-
idea?
I think they think that they're being helpful. Like, oh my god, look at all this excitement that's happening,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, no, fuck
yeah.
that. Yeah, we had that problem with the Marvel Calls series, didn't we, James? Like, where I was like for starters, the Marvel films with their spoilers in their trailers for their films is disgusting. Like the fact that, I mean, turn off if you've not seen Civil War yet or whatever. But the fact that in the trailer that you see Spider-Man turn up, and but in the film, it's like this massive reveal. And it would have been well exciting to have seen that, or like when we saw the Infinity War, and I was like, I wonder what of the characters that we've seen are going to be in this. And then the splash screen on Disney Plus before the film started was like, oh, there's the Guardians of the Galaxy and Spider-Man and Iron Man all standing together. Brilliant. That's ruined that little.
And they do
thing
that
then.
with like the text descriptions as well, because like Rachel and I have been watching Angel, you know, like the TV series, and
Oh hell yeah.
there's a character in that she particularly hates, like really can't stand, right? And I know that this character is coming up in the next episode as like a return. And it's like comes up like on the thing, you know, like on the preview for like the next thing. And I was like, I wanted to be surprised by it. I don't want it to know it's
Was
coming.
Angel and Buffy the Vampire Slayer linked?
Yes,
Yeah,
of course,
yeah.
yeah.
It was a
They were-
spin-off, was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
we're
Angel-
watching both
yeah.
at the moment, and yeah, but we're
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Angel was in Buffy, and then Buffy dumped him, so he went to go and be a sad private
So-
investigator in LA.
It was his choice. I think you'll find, Sarah. It was his
we-
It was.
choice.
It was. Oh, what that they split up?
Yeah, but I think
Okay.
mostly
It's
it was
been a
also
very-
because he
it's
got a
been
spin-off.
many years.
Can we have Buffy dumped him as the episode title, please? Is that it for the feedback?
That is it for the feedback. 47 minutes in.
Oh shit! Okay, it's gonna be a short show this week. James, let's get to the news.
Okay, we do have industry layoffs again this week. So GameSpot have laid off a portion of their staff. There's no detail as to how many. They've just said some have been laid off.
That's
so
helpful.
yeah, and I mean this is the second wave as well because after Fandom acquired them, this happened before.
Oh, God,
So
of course.
yeah.
Oh, shit.
Also, Nimble Giant Entertainment have also reduced their staff by 28. So this is another Embracer subsidiary. Yeah, so that's happened. They've worked on like Star Trek Infinite and Quantum League and Champion of Reclam. So that's bad. Square Enix have also dissolved Tokyo RPG Factory, but what they've done is the team has just been reabsorbed into Square Enix. So it's been closed down, but they've just been reabsorbed. And then Sega of America have laid off 61 employees. And yeah, because apparently, but this is all part of a plan to phase out temporary workers, apparently.
Yeah, right.
What do you mean?
Also,
phase
isn't
out
it
temporary
the-
workers.
Do you want me to read the quote from the union? What they had to
Yeah,
say?
go on.
So it said, through our union efforts, we've been able to more than double the number of saved jobs and to offer severance to our temporary workers. This, however, does not take away from the fact that many of our co-workers are being laid off in a decision we believe will have a negative impact on the working conditions of those who remain within the company and the quality of our future games. In spite of this, we remain committed to fighting for our co-workers and for the betterment of our industry. In the face of mass layoffs that continue to happen across gaming companies, we stand united and in solidarity with those affected. So I think what it was that Sega had already talked about how they were going to phase out like temporary contract workers and try and have just more regular employees, and that was going to happen by February 2024. And this is part of that approach.
Right.
Okay.
And that's that. Should we move on to the next news because we've already discussed this quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
So Microsoft are talking about putting Xbox exclusives such as Starfield, Indiana Jones. The most recent rumor was
Well,
Gears
I
of
mean,
War.
let's face it. Today, on Monday, we have seen pretty much every game be mentioned as, oh yeah, that's probably coming. Jeff Grubb was at it, wasn't he, again?
I was going to
Gears of
say,
War.
is this how legit is this, or is this just another? Oh well, I heard someone else say it, so now I'm going to
I mean,
say it.
It
and
does
then-
feel a little bit like that. The industry insiders have heard something, and they're all just clutching at straws. Like,
So,
it does feel a bit like that.
Today, Phil Spencer, just before we recorded, has said he's going to give a state of the Xbox business update next week.
Okay.
And it sounds rather, I mean, okay, we're completely guessing here. We have no idea like, at all. But, I mean, not that we ever do that, but it sounds like there is something happening, and these are leaks of possible future direction that they're going to reveal next
Yeah,
week.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
hoping that because that's your fucking prediction.
Yeah.
But
Well,
also,
no, but-
I
it
mean,
could very well be what Sean has said, that people have been fed nuggets of information and they're all just like saying shit.
I
That's
think,
also possible. Sorry, Sarah.
I think if there was absolutely nothing to these rumors, then Microsoft, Phil, no one would say anything
Yeah, no, it's
because
definitely something.
that's what you do. So the fact that he has come out and said there's going to be, because what is it, the way he phrased it as well, something
Yeah,
like there being like a business update, like he made it sound
He said the future of Xbox, like Xbox. Hang on, let me just bring it up.
Yeah,
because
he
there
was
Yeah.
pretty. It's pretty. It's a pretty big
Like,
statement. He said.
I also, again, this I can't
can I-
remember. I can't remember who posted it, and
Shall I read it?
this
Oh,
may
there
not
we go.
be
Phil
any.
has put it in the chat.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
So it says, "We're listening and we hear you. We've been planning a business update event
I
for next
fucking
week."
hate that for
Where-
starters. We hear you. Shut up. I fucking hate that. We hear you. Do you? Oh, thanks for hearing us. Like, shut up. I hate whenever a company or someone like that says, we hear you, it makes me want to punch them in the face.
Just wait for when he says the best place to play our games will still be on Xbox. That's what he's going to say. But anyway, we're listening and we hear you. We've been planning a business update event for next week, where we look forward to sharing more details with you about our vision for the future of Xbox. Stay tuned.
I'm fascinated to know which way they go. I think
Because has this been done before? It hasn't, has it?
How do you
Where a
mean?
platform holder is like, right, we're going to put our exclusives on the rival. platform.
Only when they've exited the hardware business entirely, which they're not going to do.
And only when
I
they've
don't-
had
I don't think that's what it is.
exclusives.
I think this is a play for the next generation. I think this is, you can have Xbox games on your PlayStation 6 months later and they're going to be 70 quid.
Yeah, that's
Or-
exactly
So
what
when
I
you
think
are
is gonna
next thinking about a hardware purchase, you're thinking, if I got an Xbox, they would have all been free and I'd have played them earlier. I don't think Starfield's the one to win you over. Any PS5 owners listening to this?
I can't wait to see what an audience that isn't trying to justify Starfield how they react to that game.
But I think it's an extraordinarily long game they're playing with this, if they are doing it.
Well, because that's the thing. It's like, obviously, if these are all like native ports, that's obviously a lot of work that needs to be done to get all of these games running on PS5.
Yeah.
Or it's xCloud.
No, they can't do that because that means they'd have to allow, like, PlayStation would have to allow xCloud on PlayStation, and they're never going to do that.
Yeah, because they're
you're
not.
probably right.
Yeah,
Because they get nothing from
right.
that, do they? Whereas,
Oh yeah, of course. Because if they're platform holder, then it'll be they'll get.
I think this is mad. I think if look, I think it's either got to be very selective. I think it's got to be very selective. That's the end of that sentence.
and it'll be happening, and it won't start until next year at least.
I could see it being single player games that are long gone. Starfield maybe
See,
in
I don't
6 months' time to a year. I can't see them shifting all of their games. I can't see them selling all of their games on another system because then there is
Just
literally no reason to buy an Xbox.
It's also just the amount of work it would take to port all of those.
Yeah.
See, I agree with you that it won't be all of them. I don't think. I mean, despite my prediction or whatever, forget that.
Forget that for a second.
But it's. I agree that it won't be all of them, but I do think stuff like Sea of Thieves makes a lot of sense to me because then you could massively grow the
See,
the
that
player
doesn't
base.
to me.
Yeah, but why not? You can...
It's already on PC.
Yeah.
I mean, Starfield and Sea of Thieves make a lot of sense because they're already on PC.
plus, like something like Sea of Thieves, because obviously we know Sony are trying to get loads of service games on the PS5. So, like could Sea of Thieves like steal a march on those and be like, well, here's a really good one.
Yeah.
Cheers. Like we already made it. That could be really interesting because
Forza Horizon games.
No, I don't think so. I don't think
Why
we'll see
not?
either. I don't think we'll see either Halo or like Forza Horizon on those. Mind you, saying that, if they're talking about Gears of War like being on the PlayStation, that's crazy. Like that, because you'd have thought that's like a tentpole release.
They're
for them,
not
isn't it?
talking about Gears of War though. Some
That was
fucking
the rumour.
journalist
Yeah,
is
that was
coming
the
out and
rumour,
saying
yeah.
shit. Yeah, but we've heard like I mean, I don't know, man. I don't understand how. Look, my fear is that fucking Microsoft just like they become a publisher, and my fear. Well, when I say my fear is that means it's Sony and Nintendo left, and to choose from. Nintendo do their own thing, and it fucks me off a bit, whatever. Every now and then, but I love their games, and I cannot wait for their new hardware. Sony being the sole holder of that high-end gaming console market
That's bad
scares
news for
the
everyone, isn't
shit
it?
out
Yeah.
of me
Yeah, no,
without
I
any
agree with you about
competition.
that because it's
Without any real competition, it scares the living shit out of me because
But
it's
I
not
could-
going to be good for consumers.
But I can
And,
seriously.
and the same if Microsoft was in the same situation and
Yeah,
Sony
yeah,
were
absolutely, yeah.
exactly the same, right? It's not a preference. It's just it worries me that there's going to be one alternative to Nintendo, and it's like I don't know, man.
See, I could see. I don't know. You see, I could kind of, as I said, with like the prediction, I could kind of see this happening to a degree because of the fact that it's a software company. Microsoft are a software company. They have clearly changed their business strategy towards things like Game Pass and towards pushing software rather than hardware as like the platform. And it's pretty clear that the Series S and the Series X, they haven't probably shifted as they thought.
Yeah,
or were
but the
hoping they were
irony
going
is
to.
that's not the hardware's fault. The hardware's fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the software that's
Exactly,
shit.
yeah, and that's why part of this doesn't make sense because, like, if you look at the games that they're talking about bringing over to like PlayStation, sure they'll probably make some money off it, but none of these games are like things that I think PlayStation owners, people that only own PlayStations, are desperate to play.
No, that's what I'm saying. But Forza Horizon comes out on Xbox.
Yes,
That is
yeah.
one that they'll go, holy shit. If you've not played a Forza Horizon game because you've only bought Sony consoles, that I'd be saying, yeah, play that. Do you know what I mean? You'll fucking love it. I don't know what they're going to announce next week. It's fascinating. We live in a really weird time. Clearly, there is some weird shit going on in the gaming industry. I can't call which way things are going. You've got all sorts of, it feels like there hasn't been a genuine revolution for a long time, but certainly for me, where I've gone, holy shit, this is where gaming's going and this is exciting. It's and I think that's been hampered by obviously COVID and all sorts. But I'm sitting here now just going, fuck, where is everything going?
But that's what we thought. We thought that Game Pass was going to be that.
We really did. Yeah,
the
we
big
really
sort of
did.
thing. And it's, I mean, this to me also demonstrates that hasn't done as well as they probably hoped it had. Like in
Which,
terms
long
of
term, there's a lot of arguments for why that might be a good thing, right? Maybe it's probably healthy in a lot of ways if Game Pass isn't like the future. But yeah, as you say, it's clearly Microsoft are thinking about other avenues now.
Sorry, I was just going to say again, this is rumor and hearsay, but someone on Twitter, a journalist was either saying it was a theory or saying that he'd heard that this had been leaked potentially by someone at Microsoft, because apparently, if this is true, there's a bit of a schism over this change, and potentially it could have been leaked by someone who is not happy at the decision that's been made. So,
well, we don't know what the decision is yet at this point, so we can't really.
No.
But it is just, it just shits me up that Sony. I've got Sony and Nintendo, and that's it. That's because honestly, you just look at it and just go, why would people pay out for an Xbox at that point? Honestly, why would people pay out for an Xbox at that point?
Well, you buy one so that you can get Game Pass and get those games
No,
cheaper.
but you won't though, because that's clearly not happening.
I know, but But I mean, one of the biggest tragedies with this as well is if Microsoft were gone, like as in terms of hardware, we'd just have Sony designed hardware, and it looks awful.
Yeah, it does look shit. Also, doesn't this completely just like wipe out all the plans that leaked from Microsoft last year?
No, of course it doesn't.
No?
No, because because there's still. I don't think they're going to leave like Xbox hardware. Like they're not going to do that. It's just going to be. We are also releasing these games on other platforms, but the best place to play it is on our platform. Like day and date Xbox. Day one, all that sort of stuff.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And
What? Right. Okay. So let's say that's the thing. They release a next generation console. They say our approach now is to all our games can appear will be available on Sony's console, but a little bit later, and you have to pay full price for them, right? Console sales will go down. I don't think there's any, I don't think there's any. So where do third parties sit? When does it become a point where they go, well, there's no point in fucking making an Xbox version of this?
I guess it depends, isn't it? They'll work out the numbers as to whether it's worth putting them across. Yeah.
So if that starts happening and third party support starts dipping, so what happens to seriously? Who's going to buy an Xbox console at that point?
Because the Game Pass wallet out.
I think as well. I think it's one of those things where it's like people say for example, it's eventually these games will come to PS5, but if you want them in Game Pass and you want to play them day one, people will buy an Xbox for that if the games are good.
I just don't think they will. I just don't think they will.
Not anytime soon, but as I say, I think this is a play for the next, whether it's a half a step or a full step, the next hardware generation. I think that's what they're looking at. Or if they continue to do the route of having that more affordable option. That's true.
For families, for people on that lower budget. Being the best second console sort of, Yeah, not everyone can afford a PS5, so.
But again, my argument would be that the less they sell of their hardware, the less of the people they have in their ecosystem, the less likely third parties are gonna release games on their console and saying, "Oh yeah, they can," but the appeal would be to do it on Game Pass. They're not going to want to do that. If I want my game on Xbox for that small amount of people or that smaller amount of people, then I have to release it on Game Pass. It's.
Do you know what I really wish that they had done with this, which is impossible now, is that they should have done like the 3DO plan for this, whereby what I mean is by the Xbox
the successful 3DO.
No, but that was because it was a tiny company that was doing that. Whereas if what I'm saying is that you have Xbox put out, like the Xbox is like a reference console, and then other manufacturers also can produce Xbox compatible machines, and then just and then they can still make money through through selling Xbox OS that goes on those consoles, and then you get a lot of innovation where you'll get other companies that will be coming out with all sorts of stuff to release
but then
consoles.
Does that not make things difficult for developers if there's various different?
No, because they all still work to the same spec, which are the the Xbox spec.
Which is kind of where my thought process was at when we were talking predictions for this year, and I said a Microsoft handheld console, but not made by Microsoft. An Xbox handheld console, but not made by Microsoft. Now that makes sense to me. I'm really interested to see what news comes out next week. But it is funny because I'm not arguing with you, James. I'm not arguing with you, but I was the same when I was rattling off games in my head. Yeah, I could see Starfield going to PS5. I could see that. Could I see Sea of Thieves? Maybe I could see that. Could I see Forza Horizon?
Yeah.
No, why? Exactly. Because everyone knows that game is incredible and you can only play it on Xbox and PC.
Like, could you even see like Master Chief Collection appearing on PlayStation? I just can't imagine them doing that. That would just be.
Yeah, but we've got Sonic on Nintendo consoles, James. So it's
but that's different.
I mean as well. Okay. It did start on Nintendo consoles, but Final Fantasy 7 through to 12 were all PlayStation exclusives, and then 13 came out on both. 15 came out on both,
and obviously, and then prior to 7, it was all Nintendo.
Yeah,
so it's,
I always wonder
because there wasn't much of an alternative at that point, I guess.
I was wondering how much money that Microsoft paid to make that happen.
It's going to be fascinating because obviously, even when we do get the announcement, whatever it is,
It's going to be
like,
wild.
right, and we'll see in 5 years how this
Yeah.
really pans out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's weird.
I just don't understand the move. Like, honestly, I just don't understand the move. If that's the case.
Money. It's
No,
somebody
James,
there.
but that's not an answer. Money.
But it is because somebody there has figured out, or they've worked out that it's the whole thing of what as people say nowadays, like they've left money on the table, with these games that they could be picking up if they release it on other consoles.
And if it was that simple, I'd agree. But when you consider the amount of money they will lose from the revenue of their own store, that's quite a big thing, right?
That's the thing, because this is what I was thinking about earlier when I was about this, is that it's the Xbox store actually with the 30% or whatever that they're making off each of those that are coming out. That's the bigger concern, because the hardware, they don't seem to be making any money off that anyway.
Yeah, of course, which is normal.
Keeping the lock into the store is the thing.
Exactly. And the more people you lose from that ecosystem, the more money you're going to lose from your storefront. Like I think it's wild. I think it's wild. I can't wait to hear. And we don't even know the news yet. Let's face it. He might come out and say, this is all bullshit. Like, we're continuing. Like, Xbox is still a huge brand for us. We are not going to start releasing all games. We will be
the other way around.
What's that?
We're getting Last of Us on the Xbox, guys.
Yeah.
Download it now.
No, but like if he comes out next week and says we're releasing Sea of Thieves on PlayStation because we want to expand the user base or whatever, you go, okay, I could kind of see that. No one's buying Sea of Thieves at this point. I kind of get that. They release it free to play or something on the PlayStation, or I don't know, right? But if it's something I can understand, but if it's all these rumors about loads of games coming to PlayStation, that's where I go, how the fuck is that going to work? Like, but we've been over that.
Apologies to the listener who asked us to stop talking about Xbox versus PlayStation.
Oh yeah, shit. Yeah, but
maybe if things
no,
were so weird and messy,
yeah,
wouldn't be like this is potentially huge because it's potentially a massive change
in how we play
massive shake up
games,
to the sort of two console split that we've had since the Xbox came out. And Nintendo kind of moved into like their sort of third place thing. Like that's how things have been. You've had Xbox, PlayStation fighting it out, and then you've had just Nintendo
making all the money.
Yeah, just doing whatever they want, making all the own money because no one like so. And yeah, it's been that way for nearly 20 years at this point. Like anything that's particularly like that's potentially like a massive change to that is a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. And like if you're emailing us asking us to stop talking about Microsoft versus Xbox, I mean we're a computer game show podcast, which we talk about like, do you know what I mean?
Can't we just talk about the games?
Yeah, I mean
there are none. It's January.
Yeah.
It's February.
Also as well as like I've seen what else is on this list. It's either Xbox news or it's layoffs news. Like
that's true.
See
this is all you get for now because there's not much else happening.
Welcome to 2024, baby.
I mean, that's the other thing that I would see. One of the other pieces of news which I should have moved up in the doc actually is that Xbox revenues are up 49% following Activision Blizzard acquisition, and so I mean their content and services revenue is up 61%. The number of hours streamed by users of Xbox Cloud Gaming rose by 44%, but we don't know from what. Like we don't know any of these numbers what they mean.
But they were taking the piss out of me in the chat because I said Microsoft versus Xbox at one point during that rant. Sorry about that.
It's quite a funny episode title, to be fair.
Yeah, Microsoft versus Xbox. It is
actually,
then.
that is a good title.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on to the state of play because there was a state of play last week that we watched and we talked over it.
It was.
Yeah, it was all right. There's a whole bunch of things.
Lack of surprises again, but we went into it with a lecture from Sean about how we shouldn't expect surprises anymore, and we stuck to it.
We all came away feeling all right.
Yeah,
that's the main thing.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you want to talk about with it, but should we go through any of these?
I really liked the what was the action game?
Stellar Blade.
That looked pretty good actually. I watched that trailer again and went, actually, I might be up for this.
Some
it does
deeply impractical outfits, but
yeah,
if you like that sort of thing, I suppose.
The
James
action
does.
looked good, but the character design looked like it's come off the front of a graphics card 20 years ago.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Helldivers 2 looked pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm still so excited about that.
Yeah,
And
this looks really good.
Yeah.
Thank you,
It-
Sarah,
it's-
because I've been
it's-
trying to tell this lot and they're not having it.
Oh yeah, but you say it about everything, Sean. It's like Matt with the pun
I don't.
jokes. Why don't you react to Matt's pun jokes? Oh, because we hear them all day, every day. Like Sean going, "Oh, go look at this. It's Crew Rescuers. Play that. It's the best game ever." What are you talking about, Sean? John, have you heard of a game called Crew Rescuers? Yeah, it's really good. Okay, I'll play it, Sean. Helldivers 2 looks legitimately good though.
Yeah. And then what else did we have? There was so. Can you explain the Sonic thing, James? Because I can't remember what Sonic Generations was, or why is there a new one? Is it not already a new one?
So, okay. This is as far as I know, because my Sonic knowledge is not that great, honestly, for like this stuff. And
He's so full of shit. We all know that
it's
you're a
true.
massive fan.
It's
One
honestly
us, you're
true.
the expert, so
Right.
But no, you know, like Sonic Generations came out. What was it? Was it like 2012 or something like that? It was a while ago.
oh, was it?
And-
God, I thought this was one of the recent remakes. Is it right? So this is.
I
an
don't
old
think
one.
so.
Okay.
And then, so that was the one that mixed up like 2D and 3D sections.
That's right.
You know, to sort of show the different generations, you know, of Sonic. And this seems
good,
to
one
be
bad.
that kind of remastered with Shadow stuff as well. And yeah,
Cool.
But the remaster, I mean, it didn't look great now, and it didn't look great. But I don't get what
No,
they've remastered.
this is obviously because there's Sonic the Hedgehog 3's coming out this year, and this is
Yeah.
probably a
Well,
tie-in.
it's one of those games. I feel bad saying this, right? Because I do think, and you know how much we love Life is Strange, but I do also think Life is Strange is a bit like this. It's one of those games where it's like, look, there's an audience there that's significant enough that will buy fucking anything we put out. Well, stop laughing. I'm being serious.
Yeah.
I reckon they go, look, if we just release this, we know we'll make 100,000 sales, and that is a fucking lot of money.
I'm just waiting for them to do that with Sonic 06.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave's right. There must be a number below which you will not go with a Sonic
Yeah,
game. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
There's a guaranteed minimum amount of income from putting any Sonic shit out.
Yeah. I'm telling you, this is one of those, and same with Life is Strange. Honestly, I guarantee that at some point they're going, well, we could just release a Life is Strange game, and we know a certain audience will buy it. Because I don't know, it's maybe less so with Life is Strange, but definitely with Sonic. And James is one of them.
Yep.
That's the
Not
crazy
true.
thing.
I didn't buy the most recent one. So
You
there
will
go.
do.
I'm waiting for it to go down in price.
There we go.
So-
what else was good? Dave the Diver's coming to the PlayStation. That was news.
With
wasn't
Godzilla.
it? With Godzilla. Some
You
exciting
really
news.
like that,
Yeah.
James. But
Yeah,
you should
man.
play that on the
I-
Switch. Yeah, it's good.
It's definitely
Yeah, I
hashtag
need to
perfect
get
for
it.
Portal.
Oh, it is perfect for Portal. Yeah,
Oh,
you're
I'll
right.
try that. Yeah.
Judas looks fucking great. I'm well up for that.
Just looks like Bioshock.
Does
Yeah.
look a lot like Bioshock. But then, you know, it's been like a decade
I forgot
or
it was
something.
cool. I thought it was cool to hate Bioshock.
Oh no, Bioshock is great.
Yeah.
So
Bioshock Infinite.
Sean,
yeah,
every
Bioshock
time you do
Infinite-
that, I'm going to remind you that we had a really personal conversation the night we both completed it, saying about how great it was.
No,
I'm
I
going
know.
to bring it up every time.
No, I
every
know.
time.
I'm not saying Bioshock Infinite was shit because it clearly wasn't.
There was
There was some
bits
shit
in it.
bits in it.
Yeah, the ghost bit was one of the worst things I played in the gaming era. But I like the bit where you found out about the finger. What about that? Oh, but it couldn't have happened. I don't care. I like the bit where you found out about the finger. Shut up. It was good.
I still wish, and I say this every time it comes up, if someone could make a combat-free mod for Bioshock Infinite, I would walk through
Yeah.
that entire game again.
Yeah,
just to
every
look
now
at
and
it
then I boot up and do the intro again.
Yeah.
It's fucking stunning to look at. And then when you go back and see all the stuff that you missed the first time, like it's Fight Club or something, it's so good. But yeah, I really like the look of Judas. I am looking forward to playing that game.
Yeah, V Rising looks really good. I know it's been out on PC for a little while, but I've
Which one was
heard
that? I
of.
don't think I remember.
That was
It's
the
like the
top-down.
top
yeah.
down. Yeah,
Oh,
real
yeah,
goth
yeah.
looking one.
Yes.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Okay.
Silent Hill 2 does not.
That was weird, wasn't it? Because
Oh,
they just showed a load of combat.
yeah.
Which I guess if the point they were trying to make was like, if you like Silent Hill 2, you know the story's already good, but you know the combat sucked, so we've made the combat good now. But I don't
But
think anyone wants a Silent Hill. Yeah, like I don't think anyone's like, oh no, if you could do it again, but make it like Resident Evil 4. No one asked for that. Like, it's not...
literally no one was asking for that. But
but nobody was asking for Bloober Team to do it either.
Yeah,
but...
I was going to say, like, to have the first gameplay reveal of the Silent Hill 2 remake be a combat showcase, which is how like the trailer's listed as on YouTube. It's, of course, like it's such a Bloober Team move to do, because they do not understand anything. Like,
No,
I
you're
always try and temper like what I say about developers, because I'm like, at the end of the day, it is still a lot of people who have worked really, really hard, but
fuck them.
Yeah, but like,
the medium was
medium is terrible. The first layers of Fear started off okay, and then just got absolutely terrible by the end. Bloober Team are a terrible developer that does not understand horror or horror storytelling in the slightest. So they are the people that look at Silent Hill 2 and go, oh well, the combat could be better. The story's a bit confusing, so let's make the story less confusing and the combat better. That will make it a better game. They probably fully believe that what they are doing is the right thing to do.
I mean, the medium had really concerning messages as well by the end.
But also in the same way that Silent Hill: The Short Message does. But we will get onto that.
I'm looking forward to hearing about that.
Until Dawn remake, fine. If you've not played that game, then play that game. It's good fun. Doesn't need it. It
still looks so good.
It looks fine. It's serviceable. It's a good game. It's a great game. The Death Stranding 2 trailer, if you didn't see my reaction to it, pissed me off so much. Because just honestly, look, I'm not a fan of Kojima. I think I decided that a while back now, that his bullshit just pisses me off. Like, it just, there's some people trying to isn't it clever? It's not clever. The Death Stranding trailer is, honestly, do you know what it felt like? You know, if you're not into football and you watched fantasy football with Dave Baddiel and Frank Skinner, and you go, this is just the normal football. Isn't it funny? Like, yeah, that's what someone that's not into Kojima feels like when they watch the Death Stranding 2 trailer. Oh, the gloves are talking now, are they? Right, fine. Okay, there's a puppet in there and it's lower frame rate.
Were talking, but they were sentient.
It's just all of that
there was
shit.
a little puppet that was it was in its own sort of.
And do you know what kills me is that Matt's like, "Wow, that's amazing," and I'm like, "No, it's not amazing." Like, well, what? Oh, it's a wallet that is sick, and you've got to keep feeding the wallet. Anyone can make up shit like that. It doesn't mean it's amazing.
Why must you hate someone's creative vision, David?
No, but to be fair, James, right? I haven't played Death Stranding properly. I have started it again on
so
Steam
did
Deck
I.
this week, but. Everyone I know who really likes that game admits the story's fucking bobbins.
Yeah.
No,
and if anything, the game gets better when the story's over and you can just play it without.
The whole thing about that game that's impressive is the imagery and
that imagery of that stuff of the things floating in the air, like that, all that shit I'm into, right? Like, I love that. It gets ridiculous when it's like it's a toothbrush and a skateboard, because you just think. A kid could come up with that shit, Kojima. Like, this isn't impressive or interesting or fascinating. It's a wisecracking puppet at a slower frame rate.
You didn't like the guy with the guitar that turned into a gun?
Fireball. Yeah, all of that stuff, you know. I don't fall for it.
Well, it's like, because when I started playing Death Stranding, and like the gameplay as well is really good. The whole like traversal, it's nice and chill, and you kind of
that's the thing. And
relax
into. We should acknowledge, like, Kojima's got. I mean, obviously, it's not just him. I know it's problematic to be like, oh, he does everything himself. His games have got better at that stuff. Metal Gear Solid 5 is a fucking great, like, open world game in the way the others weren't, and then Death Stranding sort of continues that in some ways. So I think it's important to acknowledge he got better at that stuff.
Yeah. But with Death Stranding, like especially like early in the game when it's just like cutscene after cutscene after cutscene, and there's about every sentence has got like 2 or 3 new proper nouns that you've never heard before, and I'm like, but people
some of them never get explained, right?
No,
Yeah.
but people slag off Kingdom Hearts for the same thing.
Yeah.
Why? Like, let's not pretend that like.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts got fucking Buzz Lightyear in it, so go fuck yourself.
Yeah, like I enjoy weird shit that sometimes isn't explained, but
yeah, but not when it's just
it's just bombarding.
Not when it is only that.
Like the last
I
episode
said...
of that fucking show you watched, James, the Curse.
Oh, the Curse, yeah.
Yeah, anyone can do that. That's not.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind if Kojima was just like, yeah, no, I just thought this stuff was cool. It's when people are trying to put in layers and layers and layers and layers of meaning and like metaphor and like making it out to be this big deep, like just let him make weird cool shit for the sake of it just being weird and cool.
It's like it's that sort of, I thought that looked cool, and it's like yeah, it does. It's like,
the thing, and I think I mentioned this before. Like, yeah, when I first tried to play Death Stranding, and everyone's going, "Oh, the BTs! Oh my god! Oh no! There's BTs! Oh, there's weird shit's happening!" And so after a bit, I was like, "Right, what the fuck are BTs? I'm just gonna look it up. Right, I'm gonna allow myself to just look this up because it's annoying me." And then I was reading it, and I was like, "Right, spirits trapped between world of the living. Right, they're ghosts. They're just ghosts." Right, like you don't have to call them something else. They're just ghosts. That's fine.
Right. Look, I don't know. There's a lot of people out there that love Hideo Kojima's stuff, and fair play, man. Like if you're into his stuff, you're into his stuff. I just, from someone like me, I look at it and just go, okay, all right. What is he doing now? He's climbing on the fucking walls. Is he? Why? Because he's got octopus hands. So, like what? Okay, has he got that? Has he?
There was an octopus girl in Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah, the ones that come and gave you a hug.
Yeah.
I heard a rumor about that.
Go on.
That right. What was the rumor? Because they were bosses, right?
Yeah.
And then once you broke them out of their monster form, they started coming to try and give you a hug. And you'd have to shoot them before they got near you.
Yeah,
but
because they like drain your health.
Yeah, but if I heard a rumor that if you just put your gun away and just let them hug you, they disappeared because that's all they wanted was love. But no one has ever confirmed that to me, whether that was bollocks or not.
Is this like Sif in Dark Souls? Like, there's this rumor that you don't actually have to kill him. Yes, you do. Shut up. Stop making me feel bad.
Oh really? There was a rumor that you could... Oh no, he's an optional boss, Sean. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
He's not optional because it's like 2/3 into the fight he starts like limping.
Yeah.
So some people are like, "Oh shit, is this like a point where I can be like, no, I don't want to fight you now."
No, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, look. Don't get me wrong. Some of the shit Kojima's done is fucking incredible. Like, I love all the the sort of fourth wall breaking stuff and all that sort of shit. But
I do refute the people are like, no one else is doing stuff like it's like play like any indie game for God's sake.
Yeah.
Like there's plenty of people doing weird imaginative
play
stuff.
Fall Guys.
Or
and then
EA Sports FC.
And then this is the other thing as well, because Kojima's always come across to me as someone that really did, wants to make films and stuff, and now he's announcing his what appears to be a film/game crossover thing at the end of the. Is anything more like? Did it really end on that? Because is that, to me, that's like a real like sort of.
I don't think it ended on that. I thought, did it end on Death Stranding 2? I don't remember.
No, it was after Death Stranding 2 because I was kicking off about Death Stranding 2 and he went, I'm going to tell you about my new project now. It's a film and a game.
Not Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, and it's not Metal. Well,
which fine, I'm more than happy for him to do another Metal Gear Solid. Like
we'll see. I just we're about to end it by telling us that something might be coming. I don't know. Okay, that was. It wasn't a bad
mention. Dragon's Dogma 2. They showed more of that.
Oh, of
I'm so fucking excited about it. I love the fact that it's just. So my understanding is Hideaki Itsuno, who's making it. My understanding is basically he told Capcom, right, I've done like hit after hit and now I want to make Dragon's Dogma 2. Like, it's time. And
Arrogant.
it's like he just doesn't give a fuck. Like, if you look at all the preview stuff, he's just saying like, yeah, if you've got fast travel in your RPG, it means your RPG's boring. I'm not putting fast travel in this time, right? And there's just all this stuff that's just so willfully weird. Like, I'm so excited about it. Sorry, Sarah.
It did make me laugh watching the talks over that you guys did. And David, you were going on about, because obviously it was playing like loads of the dialogue, and you were going on about all the like really high fantasy talk, all the like these and nows, and you were like, oh, like you really like Dark Souls though, and that is the most like high fantasy.
The first time on that
ever.
Yeah, but I just run past those people. The first time I come across like the what is it with that full the crest? Oh, what's it called? The warrior.
Crestfallen
warrior. Yeah. Oh, stranger, I must gather the find. I was just like, right, I'm off. just all right, mate, fine.
Have you ever played Dragon's Dogma, Dave?
No, I haven't.
You would hate it.
Really?
It's full of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I really struggle. It's just like, just tell me a normal story, mate. You know what I mean? I get like that with
Speak normal.
Yeah, I get like that. I get like that
English,
with like Star Wars and stuff as well. Like where they're like, oh, that's Blibble from Gliffith. I just go along. The Mandalorian was really bad for that. Like where they must have been sitting around a book. We could need a new planet name. I know, Briffle. Yeah, that'll do. Next, anyone else for another one? Glick 7. Yeah, let's put that one down. Like, it's that sort of shit that it just makes you go, oh, come on. Come on. Right, okay, sorry. Okay. Is that it?
Yeah,
pretty good state of play.
Yeah,
it was decent.
It was fine. Also, The Last of Us Part 3 could be happening because Neil Druckmann
It's definitely happening. Why the fuck would you not do that?
Yeah.
Oh.
He said, this is what he had said. He says, I don't have a story, but I do have that concept that to me is as exciting as Part 1, as exciting as Part 2. It's his own thing. There's still a through line for all the 3 games. So it does feel like there's probably one more chapter to this story.
Druckmann now has 2 amazingly successful games, and which has spawned an amazingly successful TV show. I mean, it sounds like season 2 of that TV show is going to be The Last of Us 2. Why would you not do a Last of Us 3 at this point? That is, talk about turning money down.
Are we going to potentially end up in that weird territory where the TV show outpaces the games?
I can't see that happening. No chance. I don't. Actually,
it could be
what
as good
makes
as
more
Game
money?
of Thrones.
The game would make more money, right?
Yeah, because they'll re-release it about 17 times.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
And also the fact that I think they're less likely to lose an audience if they release the game first before the film than the TV show than the other way around. Because there will be people that watch the TV show and then go, well, I don't really want to play a 10-hour game now based around a story that I've already been told.
Yeah, you're going to get more game people watching the telly show than you're going to get telly people watching the games. Because there's so many people who enjoyed the TV show and it's like, oh, apparently there's some game it's based on. I don't know. I've never heard of it. Like, it's, the reach of that TV show has been enormous.
You spit in their face. Say, get out. Go away from me. You're not one of my people.
7 hours of that game, so I'm better than you.
I got to the bit where Did you play the game, Sean? Yeah, I did. I got to meeting Bill. What a character! Nope. Shit character, actually. Why? I've not seen the TV show. Was he good in that? Was there a bit in a gym where you fought a big mega zombie thing? No, there wasn't. Okay, a TV show sounds better then. Is the point I was making. Is there any other news?
Oh, yeah, just that Sonic 3 seems to be happening because Jim Carrey's going to be in it as Dr. Robotnik again. But yeah.
Sonic 1, the film, was really good.
Yeah.
Like the Sonic 1, the game. Sonic 2, bit divisive, but still did really well. Sonic 2, the game. We get this Sonic and Knuckles territory. So is this...
No,
isn't the last good one?
Isn't this the one that's going to have Shadow and he's being voiced by Hayden Christensen?
Oh, is that confirmed? I'd seen people were asking for it or something. I don't know if.
Yeah, I've got no idea. Oh,
we've got on Idris Elba Knuckles TV show coming as well.
Oh, really?
They
Yeah.
haven't, have they?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what to think of this. I hope it's good. I enjoyed the first two films. James didn't for some reason.
No, I loved the first one. I thought it was great, but the second one I thought was really average. Didn't like it that much.
It was all right. You still not seen the second one, have you, Sean?
I haven't. No, I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix now or something.
Yeah,
so
give
I
it a
should
fucking
probably
go,
watch
mate. I
it.
thought it was decent. I like the bit where it just turns into Bridesmaids for a bit, for literally no reason, and you forget Sonic's even in it for about half an hour. But I'd time for it. I'd time for it. Okay, that's coming then. Next, is that
That's
it?
it. That's all I got. Yeah.
Well, then let's get to what you've been playing, and I think we should probably start with Silent Hill, the short message, which is, what is this? So is this a promotional thing for the new game, but it's completely separate, right? It's not a demo of the game that's coming out.
No, it is a like the name implies. It is a whole game
Yeah,
that is very short. It's like 2 hours.
right.
And it is first person, so more like PT than
Mhm.
the Silent Hill 2 remake, which is going to be third person. New character, new story. It is just this short little mini Silent Hill game.
So
And
what's it like? Sarah and James, you've been playing it. Sarah, you start, because I know James has got a lot to say about this.
Not really. Pretty much more than Sarah's already. Gonna say.
Okay, let's hear it then.
it is. Can I swear?
Yeah.
is-
No, we
it
don't do
is-
swearing on this podcast.
It is fucking awful.
You watch your mouth. You'll
It
kiss your mother
is-
with that mouth.
It is hot garbage. It is terrible.
Why?
It's so bad. So it starts off because like the character you play as is like a teenage girl, and it starts off with this like voiceover from her going, "Oh, everyone should be alone. You can't trust people." Blah, blah. And I was like, "Okay, cool. I already don't
Been
like
there.
her."
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes across as like real edgy teenager.
Mhm.
It then becomes very apparent that it is trying to be PT
Mhm.
in that you go through the same zone, and it keeps looping and gets spookier and spookier as you go along. But it already starts off
I-
spooky.
I dispute the fact that it gets spookier and spookier.
I kind of guess you disputed that when you went.
Yeah.
I
I mean, it's when I say spooky, I don't mean genuinely scary. I just mean like kind of like messed up looking and has
Right.
more like graffiti with like no hope and more messed up dolls and stuff. Like,
yeah.
really, 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 really generic. And basic gameplay is literally there is a bit of you wandering around in first person really, really slowly while the girl either talks too much or just doesn't say anything when like things happen. She just won't react to it, and then she'll just talk loads about things which don't really
Like
mean
what?
anything.
What did
So
she talk
like
about?
she's constantly, so basically she is getting texts from this girl called Maya, who is her friend, and her friend's like, "Come and meet me, I'm at this place." And she'll constantly she keeps seeing like Maya's graffiti in, because basically you're in like this like high-rise building that's in like massive disrepair, graffiti everywhere, it's fallen apart. And she keeps getting texts from Maya, and then she keeps talking about like Maya's graffiti. And then there's this bit where you have this like flashback, and then all of a sudden there's like these creepy mannequins that are meant to look like jocks, like high school jocks. There's like
Right.
10 of them like surrounding you like instantly, and she just doesn't say anything about them ever. And yeah, basically it turns out, and trigger warning for discussion of, you know, serious mental health, suicide, self-harm. About 10 minutes into it, you get a flashback of her the girl going into the bathroom of her house because her mum's shouting abuse at her, and she grabs a razor blade off of the bathroom, and like you see almost everything of her self-harming, and I was like, oh, okay, I am actually angry at this game now because that's just gross. That doesn't need to be in it. And then it basically I'm gonna give spoilers because if you think you're worried about spoilers in this game,
Don't
don't
spoil a piece of
don't
shit.
bother.
Don't play it. Also, don't play it.
Yeah, don't play it. I mean, I must admit, I got 25, 30 minutes into it, and I was like, I can't be bothered with this, and I watched the rest of it on YouTube, so I didn't play it all. Then it basically turns out that you find this thing. Basically, it turns out that this building is really famous because girls keep killing themselves off of it. Girls jump from loads of girls, young women. Apparently, it's famous for young women killing themselves off of this top of the building. And then you find out, big twist, that Maya, because the main character is also texting another friend of hers. And it turns out that Maya, the graffiti artist, is dead and has been dead for a little while. And then the other aspect of the gameplay is you get chased by this really stupid looking monster. And you're kind of doing the slow exploration. It'll start to get a little bit spooky. It will do the Silent Hill peely walls thing. And then all of a sudden, the most insane, high tempo chase music kicks in. You see the monster, and you just have to run through these mazes, until you get to the end. And then you go back to really slow paced, boring exploration. And then you'll go through a door, and suddenly you will be in a chase, and you will just have to run. And I was like, I can't bother with these chases. And that was the point I decided to stop doing it.
And also,
Sorry, go on.
So I was going to say, and also the worst thing about these mazes is it's trial and error, running around these mazes. There's nothing you can do. There's no combat, obviously, whatsoever. But that's fine. But there's also no real indication of where you're supposed to go, and so you're just running around blindly mostly. I mean, okay, occasionally there's some lights that will be okay, probably I should go that way. But even that, it's oh no, you've got to go around a corner, and then you've got to go around a thing to try and distract it so it goes somewhere else or whatever. And I got to the point when I was playing it, because I played it for about an hour and a half, on stream, and I just got to the point where I was just like, fuck this. This is ridiculous. This is complete. This is not engaging. This is not fun as a mechanic. This being chased. You can do that in a really effective way. Being chased. I know Matt hates it. In games when they do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this is so, because of the trial and error aspect of it. You just get to the point where you're like, oh, okay, caught again, have I? And
it takes some tension out, doesn't it?
To add such a bullshit trial and error thing, it's you've already decided this is going to be a short game.
Yeah.
Why is it feels like you're dragging it out almost?
Well, there's three of them. The first two, you literally just have to run and get to the end of the maze. The first one you can get through quite quickly. I'm guessing the same with the second one, but the third one, you have to run around and find these 3 photos, and then get out. And the YouTube video that I watched, which was literally just no streamer, no one talking over it, literally just straight gameplay. The person took maybe 10, 15 minutes in this one maze, and they were just running around. And because your character the girl automatically switches into a sprint for the mazes, and obviously the monster is quite fast. So you just have to run. And it's all the area you're in, it all looks the same. So I'm I don't know how you are supposed to learn how to get around to find these things and then get to the entrance, because you're having to run through it so fast, and it all looks the same. I don't know how you're supposed to learn how to get through it. But then
how did you get through it then?
I mean, I didn't at this point. This was long after I'd sacked it off and decided to just watch it on YouTube. But even the YouTuber spent 20 minutes on it and was just running around in circles. I had to fast forward through it because they were taking too long to get out of it.
Because it's just trial and error. You just have to keep memorizing where you've gone and just keep doing it over and over again until eventually you get it right. That's not fun.
I just feel this all sounds like clearly they wanted to play off of PT, right? It's clearly what they wanted to do. And if you remember, there was a lot of trial and error stuff in PT. There was loads of stuff that you just didn't even know how to do. There was stuff in that game that supposedly, I don't even know if it's still real, but you have to say something into the microphone at the right time and all that sort of shit.
So that was always intentional. I hate to go back to Kojima, but Kojima's idea for it was that people would be discussing it on
Oh yeah.
forums and streams and social media to try and figure out what the hell this thing is, how to complete it. And he was expecting it to be like a couple of weeks before people figured out how to unlock that Silent Hills trailer. So that was intentional. With this, it's just bad design. But like you then, as like the story goes on, you find out that the girl you're playing as, so she's called Anita, you find out that she got jealous because Maya was too friendly with Amelia, her other friend. And so Anita basically tricked Maya into killing herself. This comes at like the end of the second act. So I was like, oh, it seems a bit weird that they're revealing this now. And Anita, at the end of the first act, she gets to the top of the roof and she throws herself off and dies, but then goes into the second loop. You get to the end, you found out that, she's the one responsible for Maya killing herself. So she kills herself and she goes into the third loop. And I'm like, well, at this point, like that seems like the end of the story. So then it goes into this whole thing about how she was like really horribly abused by her mother and would keep the both of them locked up, her and her little brother locked in a closet. And then there's like a spooky fridge, and the fridge is making weird noises, and the fridge in the house says, oh, don't open it. And I'm like, this is just trying to be the spooky fridge from PT.
A Kojima game. Oh,
yeah,
from
the
PT,
spooky fridge that drops down in PT.
Yeah.
Then you find out that the little brother died in the closet, and the mum just put the body in the fridge for like days until Anita went to the police, and then the police came and arrested her mum. There is zero reason. Like literally, the game goes from going, oh, social media's bad, because there's this whole thing where Anita's looking at her phone and she's really sad that Maya's got more likes. So the game's first like, oh, social media's bad. And then very quickly it goes, oh no, bullying's bad because Maya's getting really badly bullied at school. And it's like, oh no, parental abuse is bad. And it's like, the game doesn't know what to talk about. The game doesn't know what it is trying to have a discussion about because it's just so messy and so muddled. And then right at the end, Anita gets to the top of the building and she's like, she calls Amelia and she's, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm the one who made Maya like kill herself. And then she goes to jump off. She goes to kill herself again. And then she gets a text from Amelia going, oh, hey, we should go shopping. So it's trying to do the whole
this
like,
just sounds like...
Because, and at the end of like every act, when Maya has killed herself, it pops up going, oh, if you're struggling, you should speak to someone. Here's all the suicide hotline numbers, which is like really gross.
Yeah, because the whole thing feels very exploitative, like the thing, which is,
It sounds like a game. It sounds like a game that's trying to take inspiration from PT and not, we've spoken about shit like this before, but where it's, someone that's looking at something that's successful and much loved, and saying, right, well that does that. We'll do that.
Yeah.
You go, no, but you're missing the point of it. Like you're doing what that's doing, but you're not getting it right. No, that's well, that's what it is. And then also touching on very, very sensitive subjects, but without the understanding of what you're portraying in your game. Like that is fucking dangerous. Like
it's genuinely disgusting in parts at how, because it's like, if you want to do like the whole idea of a bully who maybe causes someone to kill, like that is a that could be an interesting Silent Hill protagonist.
Right.
Because, you know, Silent Hill 2, the protagonist, it's going to be spoilers, but the game's like 30 years old. So, you know, James is in, like, Silent Hill is a projection of sometimes your guilt, sometimes other things. But in Silent Hill 2, it is a projection of James's guilt over killing his wife who was dying of cancer.
Mhm.
So that kind of conflict and guilt and stuff, and how Silent Hill portrays that to the player character is interesting. And so the idea of like, oh, okay, maybe this girl was a bully, or, you know, did something to make, you know, someone kill themselves, that could be an interesting story. But one, I am absolutely fucking sick to death of stories about teen girls' mental health through suicide, through bullying. Through like social media, through bullying. Why does it always have to go to suicide and self-harm?
Mm.
You can talk about these things, and you can talk about these effects on young girls without constantly going to suicide and self-harm. Like, just look at any of the discussions around 13 Reasons Why. Like, it does not need to be done. But then it adds in the whole thing about her, about, yeah, you know, oh, it's like all the really gross side story about her mum that comes in out of nowhere and then disappears completely. So it's like that, none of that needs to be in it. The whole dead baby in the fridge did not need to be in there at all.
It just seems like it just fumbles everything it's trying to do, doesn't it?
It-
And that,
Yeah, again,
and
it's
then
just-
ultimately, and to use this stuff as like a marketing campaign, which is what this is. It's a
100%.
free to play thing that is supposed to be a marketing ploy for the new Silent Hill game. I don't know. It's it seems rough. So it sounds like you should avoid it.
Yeah, I mean, I did have to check because, you know, James, you mentioned about the medium, and isn't it at the end of the medium, you're essentially made to feel sorry for a paedophile child killer, right?
It's
Or like
yeah,
child
then,
abuser.
but also it's this. I think from what I don't want to, because I can't remember exactly what the thing is, and I don't want to get this wrong.
Yes, yeah.
It's-
Don't
My
it's-
talk about
understanding
it.
was that basically the medium's message is like, if you're an abuse survivor, you're sort of doomed to repeat
Yeah,
the cycle.
that's I think what I
That's it.
remember. Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, so
and also do bad things as well. Was
Yeah.
the thing. It was
yeah,
Well,
so it's
this
like
is-
at the end of like this Silent Hill, obviously, you know, it's like she's about to kill herself again, and then she gets the text, and like the sun comes out, literally the sun comes out, and all the fog rolls away, and she's back in the real world, and she's like crying, and it's like, okay, so we're obviously meant to feel like sorry for her, but she did literally drive a girl to kill herself. Like, that still
Yeah.
happened. She still did that.
And from what you've
And
told me, it
she
doesn't
gets
sound like
this-
that's like been processed in any
No.
particular way. It's just,
No, it absolutely hasn't. It's
Yeah.
kind
Well,
of this
yeah,
throwaway
I mean that's
twist.
the ultimate theme, isn't it? It's a game that seems to drop everything that it does, and when you drop things like horror and stuff like that, you can go, oh, that's bad. But when you're dropping social problems, then there's actually implications to that, and that makes the game a little bit more
Yeah.
harder
also-
to just sort of brush off, you know.
It's also not scary in the slightest.
Yeah,
The-
James is saying.
It's not scary. It's poorly designed as well, and yeah,
It's so badly written as well.
Well-
Some of the dialogue, some of the lines of dialogue.
See,
There's
and
one,
that-
there's one bit when the girl's getting all these people, all the like bullies are shouting at her, and it's like this audio bit of like all these different like things, like slut, ugly, blah,
Yeah.
all these insults. One of the insults that's thrown at her is "shut your whore mouth," which just made me think of Anchorman.
Well, yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Well, from a poorly written game, can we go to a very well written game? Can we talk about Baldur's Gate 3? James, you finished it now, have you?
I did. I finished it over the weekend, and
Nice.
I mean, it took me. I think it was just over 80 hours, or maybe near to 90. I can't remember. And I understand that this is a short playthrough, as everyone keeps telling
very
me
upset
like, all the
about
time. But I don't care because I enjoyed the time I had with this, and I did all the companion quests for the people I cared about, and really
Who
enjoyed
was?
that.
You've got to say who it was.
I mean, my team was like, it was like Shadowheart, Gale, and what's it called Asteron, which was the Yeah, they're the ones that I cared about, and they're the ones that I mostly enjoyed the story for. The others I didn't really care that much for, and I know that
it's a weird one because I sort of see both sides of this because I can understand if someone spent fucking 150 hours in this and they see that you finished it in 80, obviously they're thinking like, oh well shit, like James has missed out on like all these things that I thought were really cool. But then equally I look at it as like I think I'm like 90 hours in. I'm in the third act, but I still haven't finished it. And there's a genuine risk that I may not because I've moved on to other things now. Like I'll go back at some point. But basically, my point is, if I'd played it the way you had, maybe I'd have just finished it by now and then boxed it off, and then wouldn't have to like have this of hanging over me.
I got to the point where I felt happy to have closure with some of these characters and of the story as well. And I mean, I did do a lot of like side missions, particularly in Act 1 and Act 2. I did lots of side stuff in that. But honestly, by the time I got to Act 3, I found the city quite overwhelming because it's massive and there's so much going on in that city. And I can also see why, like how it took a while for this to come out on Xbox because of the whole Series S thing.
That's right.
I can kind of see why, because I mean, you get to the city, and I was playing on PS5, and it was chugging quite badly in places.
I had a lot of like performance issues on PS5, like at launch on PS5, like entire fights with no audio.
Really? Shit.
Yeah, quite a few crashes, real bad frame rates. So yeah, still played it, still put 90 hours in and completed it. So.
But it's,
You said that so proud of yourself. Though.
Yeah, it is amazing. I love that game so much.
But that was the thing. Like by the time I got to the city, and there was so much to do, and I just felt kind of exhausted with it because I just was like, "There's so much here. Like this could be like you get to this, and you're like, this could be another game. Like this whole this section. It's just like incredible." And I get that for a lot of people, they'd be like, "That's amazing. I just want to keep in this world, keep doing all this stuff." But for me, I just felt like I feel done. Like by this point, I feel like I've enjoyed what I've played of this. The writing is fantastic. I've become very attached to a lot of these characters, and I want to see how their story ends. By this point. So, yeah, it was great. It's really really good. But as I said, I did get to the point where I felt, I'm done by this point. But I like the way that it does give you the option of doing that, of being just sort of like you can really play this in any way that you want. And I mean, I've got a colleague that's playing this at work at the moment, and he's like playing it as like a bard, and he's just put everything into charisma, and so everything is just about like conversations, and he's had such massively different outcomes that I've had, to the whole thing. And
I was gonna say, since you've speed run the game, presumably missed loads of stuff. So as you were getting to the ending, was there a hint of like, well, you haven't done like X, Y, Z, and that's given you a disadvantage or anything, or was it was
not
fine?
Really? No.
Yeah,
I mean, you get to one point where it does the whole if you go through here, you're not coming back from this.
Yeah.
But apart from that, not really. I didn't. I mean, I hit the level cap, and I was satisfied that I was doing enough damage, by that point to be able to take it on. And it was...
I think what Baldur's Gate does really well is it doesn't always make it obvious what you're missing. So in my playthrough, towards the end of Act 1, when you need to go to like the cursed area, I went through the Underdark, and just went straight to the cursed area, and then went through all of that. I didn't touch the Githyanki Crash or the Mountain Pass at all. I mean, okay, yeah, you've constantly got Lae'zel telling you to go there, but yeah, I didn't touch any of that.
It's quite telling, isn't it? There seems to be a whole industry around people just putting clips of Baldur's Gate 3 on YouTube, which is just, here's what happens if you go here and choose this option. And because it gets me every time, because if it's something that if it's from like Act 1 or 2 and I know I've gone past that bit, I'll always be like, oh, actually, yeah, I'll spend 30 seconds just seeing how that plays out, because I'm never going to see it otherwise, probably, because I'm not going to have time for another playthrough.
Right.
But that's what's so brilliant about this, because you really have like a unique experience as you're going through it, and to a degree, and that's why I didn't feel the need to just be like, I need to do all of this, because I thought you're not going to be able to unless you're spending about 300 hours or whatever on it.
There's also the way as well that like if you do certain things, that will block you off of doing other things in that playthrough. Even
Right.
something as small as like killing an NPC,
Mm-hmm.
that can then potentially block you off of, because like in like the troll goblin camp at the beginning, I just went and killed Minthara
Yeah,
when
same.
she's potentially recruitable.
Yeah, I had no
Like,
idea she can be a companion.
no,
I was like, she's a
I
baddie.
just went and
Just a
killed her.
baddie.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
told she was a baddie, so I just went and killed her. Like
Yeah.
there's so much to that game. It is mind blowing just how much there is. Yeah.
But yeah, I had a good time, and I felt done, by this point. So it's cool.
No, that's fair.
Alan Wake 2 next. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, they've taken the jumps. Well, there's an option to take the jump scares out. Have you seen
Yeah,
it?
you can reduce them in the options now.
Which I know. I mean, you're probably fine, but I
not
will
gonna
be
do that, yeah.
turning that option on.
Yeah, I might actually play it now. You can take those out because yeah.
You're right, Dave. You're muted.
Oh wow!
You've done a James.
I know,
What a
James
show.
Farley.
What a show!
We're talking about too much fantasy stuff for him.
Yeah, he's tuned out.
Yeah.
James, Sean, what games have you got for us?
I was going
this
to say, I'm happy to skip mine because we're getting on, and mine are like Steam Next Fest demos, so maybe I can just skip it and do a
Okay,
bit
cool.
on them next week.
Well, I'll be very brief with mine anyway, because carrying on with Prince of Persia, James, that fucking the pirate area
Yeah,
is
it's great.
absolutely incredible.
I know. That's what I said. That was the bit when I said there's a bit in this that looks like stunning and like incredible and like great, and that was the bit I was talking about.
I can't quite get over how cool of an idea
Yeah.
it was and how good the execution was.
Yeah.
Like to go from like the bit where you do the thing and then it changes. I'm like, oh man, that game is really good, isn't it? I think if I've got one problem with it this week, it's that there are so many areas where it's like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be going. No, this is an intentionally really hard platforming bit where with very little reward once you do it.
The funniest bit with that is because you said David, you sent me like a clip of, of a bit that he was trying to do, and I was like, that's the exact bit that I sacked doing that off because I was just like,
Yeah, but I thought
it's
it was the way I
ridiculous.
was supposed to be going.
Yeah.
Like that's what annoys me. I had to look up how to get to the area that I'm supposed to be going to next. Yeah, I've never really liked that with Metroidvanias at the first. I'm playing the guided mode, but all the guided mode is like you need to be here somewhere. But so I thought I had to go through one area and then go up. But it turns out that right at the top of that area, there's a really challenging platforming section that's really fucking hard, right? I thought once you get to the top of that, that's where you're supposed to go. It's not. You have to go right round another way and then through there. And I was just like, fuck's sake, what a wasted time. I was playing it on a train. And I honestly had to just put it away because I was like, I'm getting too angry to be on a train playing this shit. So yeah, that's a shame. But yeah, it's a really, really good game. I'm in the bits now that people go like the fucking boss fights are so cool. And yeah, it's just really fun to play. I've just done, the next bit is like do these 4 or 5 bits. And then you go upwards. So I've done the 4 or 5 bits now, and I'm going to the place. Is that right near the end?
Yeah, you're quite.
It
close to
feels like it's right near the end.
But that whole section's great though with those 4 bits. I thought like you get
Oh,
the ability,
God, yeah.
to like go around.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
it.
Each new ability, all that sort of stuff is really good. Yeah, I'm loving it. I will finish that game. And just more Battlefield. Still really enjoying Battlefield at the moment. So yeah, still playing that. Very good game. Sarah, you have one more.
Yeah. Well, so I put this because I didn't realize how much because I put down Silent Hill and this before I sat down to play Silent Hill because I knew it was only going to be a couple of hours, and then I didn't realize how much I was going to hate it. And also I realized that every time I've been on here, I've only ever talked about games that I really like. So I was like, I'm actually really looking forward to just absolutely shit on something bad.
Yeah.
You should like my notes app is like that on Silent Hill.
Right.
Oh my god, yeah. But yeah, I've got really back into Magic the Gathering, which I know isn't a computer game.
I
but
think you're
figured,
just picking things to piss me off at this point.
No, but I figured if you
Is this a
guys can
wind-up?
have a game that came out in 2020 go into your 2023 Game of the Year show,
Right.
I'm
right.
allowed to mention a
card game
game.
from 1993.
Yeah, but it's arguably bigger now than
Yeah.
it has been in a very, very long time. But yeah,
Here, James, do you remember when Gascoigne flicked that ball over the bloke's head and then fucking banged it in the back of the net?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
This game came out 3 years before that. Fucking hell. Sarah,
Yeah,
you're
but
pushing it.
Yeah, but I'm not putting it into the Game of the Year though. But,
Well, we'll see what
yeah,
happens.
Yeah, I've just,
Matt might not recover from his injury, so we might have to draft you in.
Yeah.
I've just got really into it because there's a Wizards of the Coast has this thing called Spell Table, which is basically you will turn your webcams on and point your webcams down at your desk so that you can play Magic remotely.
Okay.
So me and like a couple of mine and Gareth's friends are also really, really into it. So we've been playing a lot of one of the game modes, which is called Commander. We've been playing an absolute ton of that. And I realized how much I like opening packs of cards.
It is weirdly addictive, isn't it?
Yeah, it hits.
It's so addicting.
It hits that dopamine center like right in there.
What cards did you collect like when you were a kid?
Magic the Gathering.
Was it? You didn't?
Yeah,
did you not do
that's
the
the thing.
Simpsons cards? Or
I had Magic the Gathering, I had Pokemon, I had the Pokemon Tops trading cards. I also remembered the other day about, do you remember in Tetley Tea, you used to get the Jurassic Park coins?
I do remember those.
Yeah,
Yes.
I had them. I like to collect things when I was a kid. So I always had loads of like Puppy in my pocket and all sorts.
Puppy in my pocket. I remember Puppy in my pocket.
Yeah. So Magic the Gathering is just like tapping right into that, as well as the whole competitive card game sort of side of it. So yeah, I've just got really, really, really big back into that, and it's been a lot of fun.
Cool.
I've been going down a nostalgia trip. Right? I want to know if anyone else was into this. What was the guy's name? These books. I think I might have mentioned this back in the Joypod thing, but I haven't thought about it for ages. Yeah, I think I'm just at that age now where I just think about things that.
Are you going to talk about Choose Your Own Adventure?
No, but sort of. There was
on.
these puzzle adventure books called Agent Arthur's Puzzle Adventures. And what were the ones that I remember having? Agent Arthur Jungle Journey, Search for the Sunken City, and Arctic Adventure. I remember those three specifically. If anyone is an Agent Arthur fan, could you please get in touch? Because it's all I've thought about all week. I mean, if I remember correctly, they were shit. But at the same time, I fucking loved them so much. It was like, oh, do you want to go left or right? But it wasn't like turn to page X. It was like page X. Oh, right, that's a place. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I don't know. I remember this. I was just having a real nostalgia kick this week, and so I remember the Sonic the Hedgehog Choose Your Own Adventure books. I bet you had them, James, didn't you?
No, I didn't know.
Can we do
move
one
to
on
the
stream?
questions?
I was going to say, stream.
Yeah.
Surely this is a stream.
Can we do one of those on stream, James?
Yeah, sure.
Sonic the Hedgehog Adventure Choose Your Own Adventure.
All right. Okay.
Oh, come on, that'd be well good. Oh, you're saying yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Should we get
but
on
the thing
to
with James is
questions?
because it's so little enthusiasm.
Yeah.
It sounds like I was saying no, obviously.
Okay, go on, James.
Or Sean.
I'm sure could do it, can't he? I'm so tired. Go on. I feel like James Farley now.
So to do some questions.
Metal City Mayhem by James Wallace. There we go, James.
At least Matt will be happy about the length.
That's true. It'll be buzzing. Don't we do questions, Dave?
Yes, please.
If you want to send us a question, go to No, don't do that. Go to tcgs.com.
Oh, the show's broken down. The show is over now.
deartcgs.com. No, go to tcgs.co/Dear TCGS. Dean says, hey, fuckers, hope you're doing well. When I look back on paternity leave from when my firstborn arrived, there's certain songs and video game soundtracks that bring back floods of overwhelming memories and emotions. All positive. Liar. Hope it's going to be I'm going to be a dad again soon with 4 weeks paternity leave coming up.
Whoa.
What game should I look to slot into my life during this period in an attempt to produce a purposely created nostalgia talisman for future use when I want to reminisce? I have access to Switch, PS5 and Series X, so feel free to go wild with suggestions. While we're at it, are there any video games from your past that you think will still be making your saggy balls tingle? Yeah. Saggy balls tingle with sickening levels of nostalgia when you're old and grey. Lots of love, Dean.
Thanks for that, Dean. That's made me throw up in my mouth.
Yeah, it's a lovely little image, that. Cheers.
It's just such a shit answer, but it's probably Cyberpunk because there's fucking loads of it, and you could get lost in that world for hours on end.
But then you're going to listen to that Cyberpunk soundtrack and be like, oh, I remember when my kid was born.
But that's the point. You're never going to listen to that Cyberpunk fucking soundtrack again, are you?
I feel like as well. So like when you look back at like a 360 era, that was kind of what was kind of emblematic of that era was the very kind of grey brown shooters. PS2 was a lot of like, you know, brightly coloured like character platformers. I don't know what one thing it is that will associate it with like this generation.
Yeah, what's the look? What's the
Yeah.
vibe this generation? It's yeah. But then it's always impossible to sort of pin that down when you're in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like give it 5 years and be like, oh yeah, this is in the generation when this happened, or what?
Yeah.
No, that's weird.
I would say. So, what game did you play when Isaac was a baby?
God, I
What
don't
was the
know if I
one?
played many. I watched a shitload of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh, that would be your thing then.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
because with Harry, it was Dark Souls, which is insane considering what that game is and how it works and everything.
Mhm.
And then with Charlie, it was Tetris Effect. That's where I just played that all the time because it used to make him fall asleep. So he used to like sleep on my lap or whatever while I was sitting there. It's just was it the fire party that he used to send him asleep, which might actually explain a few things. What was yours, James? With your kids?
Probably, I think for Rachel, it was Mass Effect 3, and also
It's a good one.
but also that Miles Edgeworth Investigates as well on the DS.
Oh, yeah.
They're always
yeah.
a bit random, aren't they? They're
Yeah.
always a bit like Miles Edgeworth. That game was bad as well. I thought.
Yeah, it wasn't one of the best ones at all.
No,
It was pretty bad. but yeah.
Anyway, I would say Cyberpunk because they're not old enough to know what's going on, and the screen is horrific, and also you could get lost in it forever. So.
Ultros is out next week, and they've released a couple of snippets. I mean, I already knew it looked incredible because I've seen trailers and stuff. Yeah, they've released a few bits of the soundtrack, and it's fucking stunning. So if you want a good soundtrack to associate with paternity leave, maybe
I
that might
can't
be an option.
understand why you would want a soundtrack to associate you with it though,
Why not?
because it's like the maternity leave stuff isn't a great period, is it?
No, it's the
It's
worst.
better than the toddler period, but it's
Is it, do you
still.
think?
Yeah,
Oh yes,
definitely.
Oh no,
yeah.
I wouldn't go back to those first few months for anything.
I'd have the first few months over ages
Yeah,
2 to
same
4.
here. Oh,
2 to
actually,
4.
no, I'm not sure about that. Not especially not with Rachel. I couldn't go through that again with the just being up all night.
Yeah, the colic and all that sort of stuff. I
Yeah.
dealt with that shit. I was fine with that. It's 2 to 4. 2 to 4. Just, I can't handle that period at all. I can't handle that period. I ain't about that life. Next.
MD Krabus says this lovable character is a promotional powerhouse who appears on a ridiculous amount of merchandise, loved and respected by the young and old. Who or what exactly is the TCGS mascot? You can't say James.
It's a shame. Would we have a mascot?
Mini Chief.
Oh, of course.
It's got to be the Mini Chief. Say Mini Chief.
Back again. I've been
Put
out
him
of
in the
work
top
for a
pocket and
while.
he just says little platitudes and
Yeah, he nibbles down on a mini cheddar like it. Oh, look at the size of it.
Also, it moves at a lower frame rate, I think, as well.
Shit. You've ruined that one for us, James. The mini chief. He's not had much to do, has he, for a while? The mini console phase has sort of gone quiet. Although the
That's true,
retro
yeah.
consoles are still coming out, the mini retro consoles.
yeah, that's true.
People are loving those. So that's still happening. But yeah, I want Nintendo to release their N64 this year. That'd be class. That'd be class.
Bifton says, Dear TCGS, during your last pod, you brought up Celeste, one of my favourite games ever, and it made me wonder if there was a sequel in the works. On Googling, I came across a fan-made collaborative mod called Strawberry Jam. I'm not a big PC player, but given that I got Celeste for free on the Epic Store, I thought I'd check it out. I've been left stunned. 5 huge hub worlds based on difficulty of about 20 levels each, detailed tutorial gyms teaching advanced mechanics, over 9 hours of original soundtrack, all worked on by over 350 people. I've loved almost every minute of this so far, possibly even more than the original game, although I'll never beat the harder lobbies.
Wow.
I just can't believe so many people spent 2 years of their lives putting this together just for the love of the game and the community. Are there any fan-made games or mods that you have played that have equaled or surpassed the original titles? P.S. Check out the paint level of Celeste Strawberry Jam if you want an idea of the love and affection that has gone into this project. Love to you all, Bifton. So I saw this because this was part of Awesome Games Done Quick this year. So I watched the speedrun of it, and I mean, it looked way too intense for me. But I gather there are easier bits. Like if you're not absolutely unbelievably good at Celeste. But I mean, yeah, it looked like more Celeste. There was no hint of like, oh, well, you can tell the fans have cobbled this together. Like it looked amazing.
I don't think I've ever played a mod or a fan made thing that is as good as the original. Like that is a huge thing to ask.
I mean, I've played a little bit of it, but it's got to be League of Legends.
Oh, really?
Right.
League of Legends.
Oh, because that started out as a
Warcraft 3 mod.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is that.
But
Yeah.
arguably that was the mod for Warcraft 3 was Defense of the Ancients,
Oh, that was the first
which became League of Legends, and then a bunch of the people who made the original ones went and did Dota 2 for Valve. So arguably 2 of the biggest esports games in the world are mods for Warcraft 3.
Yeah, that is crazy. That is crazy. And then I suppose, didn't PUBG? No, it wasn't. No, PUBG.
Oh, was a DayZ mod.
Yep.
Yeah, but DayZ was a mod of Armour 2, wasn't it?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe PUBG. Yeah, maybe. But actually, that's probably the answer, isn't it?
Well, I mean,
And
also, I guess not really fan made or a mod, but I mean, Fortnite was the Fortnite was Fortnite Battle Royale, and it was a side mode for what was the original
it was like
Fortnite.
A base building horde.
What's
PvE
going on with
wasn't
that
it?
game? Because I don't understand what's going on with that game. Because Harry is now playing it for the first time, and I was watching him play today, and his team got like a victory royale by seemingly doing nothing, and then he had like 3 or 4 kills or whatever, but like the ending of it, nothing seemed to happen, and it just come up victory royale.
Yeah.
And he went, yes. And I went, oh, I thought you'd been more excited. You've only been playing it for a week. He went, yeah, that's my 4th one.
I mean,
And I thought, what's
It's
going
not
on
still
here
against
then?
bots.
Well, I
Yeah.
assume so, but like, but even against bots, you're thinking, this is really, is it that easy to get a victory royale now?
when you're like early into it, yeah,
Right.
it can be
And
relative.
then
If
it
you're
ramps
getting
it up.
Yeah, because you'll slowly, as you perform better, you will be
Right.
match made against better and better people. So it could be as well that maybe all the bots died, and then because the other players are relatively new to the game, then they got wiped out by like the storm or something.
So mad. It's so weird that like the whole appeal of a battle royale game is that when they first come out, it's like, no, there's 100 players here, and like
Yeah.
seriously, it's more about survival than going out and killing everyone. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I've had games that I've won, and when it is for me, when it is that kind of anticlimactic win, you're like, oh, okay, cool, but whatever. But I guess if you're a kid, like you're gonna get excited by a win regardless, right?
Yeah.
And especially if he's like super new to it and hasn't had one of those like super intense close finishes, then
Yeah, no,
yeah.
no,
Wait until he gets
he's
one of
rubbish.
them.
He's rubbish
gonna
again.
love it.
Fuck him, actually. Yeah, he's like he
I was
doesn't deserve any
trying
of
to
it.
be
No, fuck him.
nice.
No, fuck him. He's no, he don't deserve it.
I
Right.
was trying to say that really nicely and carefully. I didn't want
Yeah, he hasn't fucking earned any of that shit. Right. Next
So
question.
do one more.
Yeah.
Santa Banter
Oh yeah.
says, evening guys. I'm currently on a gaming drought and haven't got into anything since the new year, bouncing from game to game. What games have got you out of a gaming rut over the years? Maybe I'll take some inspiration. Fingers crossed. Take care, Santa Banter.
Man, there's nothing worse, is there? There's nothing worse than being in a game of rut. I've been there. I'm kind of in it at the moment. I realise that I'm like way sort of negative about games that maybe I shouldn't be. For me, it's usually an indie game that I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'll play the new indie game, and it's something that feels so different that it kind of resets you a little bit. Vampire Survivors, you know, last year definitely, Arcade Paradise sort of gave me a boot up the arse and went, no, games are fucking really good, and you should play them. So yeah, we've all been there, and there's nothing worse. I don't know what to suggest though, because it really is the one that you're least likely to expect, or the one that you've just randomly stuck on, and then all of a sudden it gets you, and then
It was Wolfenstein 2 for me. And I finished that the other week, and like, yeah, I've been playing games loads more since.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because I mean, apart from bloody Silent Hill today, I've not really played anything other than little bits of Hearthstone since early December. I was like super unwell with the flu, and all I could do was just lay on the sofa, and the only game that didn't make all the headache worse was Power Wash Sim. So for 4 days solid, I just laid on the sofa listening to old episodes of a podcast, playing Power Wash Sim.
so fucking. Which ones did you do?
All of them. Well, like the whole story mode. And
right out to the pyramid.
Yeah, and the Final Fantasy VII ones.
So good.
Yeah.
Forget it. That game is just. If they released a new fucking level every week, I'd buy it.
But the thing is, though, is like I was maybe 3/4 of the way through the game when I started to feel much better. But I was still like, no, I need to finish it.
Yeah.
I need to finish Power Wash Sim. And I'm even sat there like, especially when you get onto things like that fucking pyramid, and I'm like, why am I still doing this?
Yep.
It is so big. There is so much to do.
That pyramid is nothing compared to the special levels that are available in the base game.
Yeah, I know.
It's ridiculous. Some of them are the fucking was it the satellite dish thing? You're just like, this is just fucking massive. That's all this is. It's not interesting to clean. It's not fun.
No,
this is just huge. Okay, I'll do it then.
Yeah. No, I had to finish the story mode, and then I was like, cool, I am done, and I haven't been back on it since.
Not the something will make you do it again, and then you
probably gone. Yeah, and then I'll work DLC. Through. I'm not. It'll be the Warhammer DLC, I think.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it'll be the Warhammer DLC.
Only Fools and Horses DLC.
I checked in with the VR version again about a week ago. Still awful. Such a shame.
Really?
Like, performance is still bad. Doesn't look great. None of the DLC is available for it. It's just the base campaign. That's it.
Have you seen Games Done Quick do Power Wash Sim?
No.
Did they?
Awful. Hate it.
Really?
Oh.
I think it was either them or it was a speedrun or something. But it was just loads of them. There was like 4 of them in a level. I went, no, that's not the point. Like, it's supposed to be one.
That'll be another category.
There was no interesting techniques either. It was just like I was hoping like if you spray here at the right time, the water physics spray across this whole thing, and you could do this whole like wall like obviously all glitches and stuff. You didn't get any of that bit. Right, is that it?
That is it.
Then James, it's time for the socials.
Okay.
Didn't remember, you didn't remember it's you when Matt's off.
No, I didn't remember it was
No,
me.
never remember.
Okay, so
No, to be fair to James, I
No,
forgot.
no,
Okay.
all right.
because James, right? I'll explain to listeners what's happened. We're looking at a Google Doc of information, and James went because he just read he was about to read special guest next week is Sarah Dyer. That's what he was about to read, and he went so.
I mean, you never know. We'll see what condition Matt's in.
Yeah. Well,
Come
I
on,
mean,
then.
probably Matt's back next week, which is nice.
He can. You don't need your wrist to podcast.
No, that's true.
Yeah. Then. Okay. Next on Thursday, Sean, are you streaming something?
Yeah, I'm going to stream more RimWorld.
Excellent.
Because last week I created all of us in RimWorld, and we had a little colony on an alien planet. And after about 90 minutes, we all got killed by ancient robots.
Okay.
So gonna have another crack at it. Maybe see if we can do a little bit better this week.
You created me in RimWorld. Okay.
Yes.
I've got to see that.
Yeah, you should. It's good.
All
You're a
right.
child star.
I am a
On-
child star, Lid.
Yeah, I know.
Friday, I'm gonna. Okay. Friday, I'm gonna stream Dark Souls 3. TCGS Co is a website that we have, and you can find out everything else on there. Just have a look at that.
Doesn't give a fuck.
But we say the same stuff every week. Everybody knows
Because
by this
people,
stage.
no, they don't.
Yeah,
Some
they
people
do.
are new.
I mean,
We
they
are
know
getting-
they know we've got a Patreon. David's
I
already
mean,
talked about it.
If they're as engaged with the podcast as you would hope, they will be able to go to the website and then follow you on it.
Yeah, but who goes
Yeah.
to the website anymore? Like, who does
Well,
that?
20 minutes to load.
Then they'll just go onto Twitter and type in TCGS and then they'll find you that way.
Our website is poor. We will work on that. We have been talking about that in the background, but it does. It's hard
Haven't we
to
just paid
scroll
for
on
another year of
mobile.
it?
It's no, we've paid for the hosting. We've
Okay.
not paid for. We should be
Oh,
okay.
okay. Okay, cool.
That was fucking going up as well, isn't it? That
Yeah.
Jesus,
Yeah,
that's coming out of the margins.
Yeah.
Oh, what isn't?
Sarah, thank you so much for coming on again this week. It's
Oh,
been
thank you for
great to
having
have you
me.
on. And also, like I mentioned when I heard you were coming on, it's been ages since we've been on a podcast together. I was starting to get offended.
Yeah.
And
I
thank
mean,
you.
it's not my choice when I decide
that's
to. I
true.
get
You should
asked.
just show up
and-
whether we ask you or not.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Like,
if you
sorry,
have,
James.
I mean,
What's
if you
filled?
use, if you have the same thing for how you do it every time, then yeah, then I'll just maybe sometimes I'll just show up.
Yeah,
Right,
we've
you're
got
right.
the URL now.
We're gonna
Yeah.
have to change that URL,
Yeah,
aren't we?
that's
Yeah, I was trying to be vague as to how things work behind the scenes, just in case. But you know,
I'll
Do you
put,
wanna
I'll
plug-
put a password on it, but the password will be like Sarah is cool.
Do you want to plug anything, Sarah?
I don't really have anything to plug. You can
All
find
right.
me on Twitter at Pika Pies, Pikapies.
What is it
If
on
you
Blue Sky?
wanna- What is it on Blue Sky? It'll be Pika Pies, and then I don't know how
That
the
was
rest of
sick.
Blue Sky works. I made a Blue Sky account, and I don't use it because everyone's still on. The vast majority of people that I speak to are still on Twitter.
I know
Oh.
it's awful, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. No one will move. Like away from it.
No, I've got threads as well, and every now and again I'll go and check that because it will give me a notification that someone I follow on Instagram
Yeah, I
has
know.
posted something
Yeah.
on threads,
Mhm.
and then I'll see posts by other people, and I'll be like, "Oh, this post is fucking awful."
The thing that
I
really
don't
annoys
want
me is
this."
that I'll get an Instagram notification. I'm like, oh, what's this? And it'd be like, someone's posted something on Threads, and I'm like, yeah, I don't care.
I don't actually care.
Yeah, I don't care.
Thank you so much for living it, everyone. We will see you next week, and take it easy. Goodbye, everybody.
Ta-ra.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.